All right,
Hey,
guys.
we're not letting you get away with it. We're not letting
We're
you.
here with Romeo from LA Video Games, and we got Chris, we got Rick, we got Ricky, we got Bento in the corner, and like I said, we got Romeo on the podcast. Guys.
Yeah, Romeo. We've known Romeo for a long time now.
Yes.
Started out seeing you, pop around the scene as, a store that we all kind of fell in love with. I feel like a lot of people found you because at expos, you at LA Video Games, which is your store, you can get more into, always had like big, immaculate. You weren't like, oh, let me just set up a booth and put some games.
No.
You made like a spectacle, like a store. You're setting up a store almost.
An event. Yeah. I'm blowing up at the events. The reason why I do these big expos and go big, like mega booths or whatever, because there's like, it's weird. When you go to an expo and you find a deal, that's cool. You find a deal. But for me, when you go to an expo and you have an experience where a booth really stands out, you have that impression on you for years. So when I have people coming to my booth, of course I'm gonna give them a deal for sure. I'm trying to push out the inventory, I'm trying to get all the money. I'm trying to wax people here and there.
Let's go. What I do notice too is like, I mean, even right before the podcast, I was like, hey, didn't you have like the big Super Nintendo bike? And it's funny you say you leave an impression because I still remember that. It did leave an impression.
Nice.
But with that, I mean, tell us kind of a little bit more like, how many stores do you own? How long have you been in the game? Why are you in the game? I'd love to know a little bit more backstory.
Well, for all the listeners out there on Spotify or whatever channels, my name is Romeo Blackburn. I'm the owner of LA Video Games. I've been in the game retail entrepreneur-wise for 3 years. Just celebrated my 3 years a couple weeks ago.
Brand new.
Nice. Yeah, baby.
You're a youngin'.
You came in hot though.
You did come in hot.
Yeah. And I've been collecting for over 10 years, but I've been doing the buying, selling, trading aspect since 2016. Prior to being an entrepreneur owning LA Video Games, I've been working in the finance sector. I have a bachelor in finance, and I work for a bunch of Forbes 500 companies for over 10 years.
Dang.
So at the height of my career, I was a banker in entertainment in Beverly Hills. So a lot of these movie stars you guys watch on TV, I was their banker. I was Sarah. I was Siri.
Can you name one?
I can. Johnny Depp.
Ooh.
Yeah, Johnny Depp. And that was a crazy one.
Wow. I bet.
I was a Series 6, 7, 8 license, and I started a bunch of companies that were struggling and made sure I made him multi-millions of dollars from my banking background. And so when I transitioned to banker to entrepreneur, I took all that experience with me. So when I opened up LA Video Games, since I had all that background, I hit the floor running because I knew what it took to make a multi-million-dollar company. And that's where LA Video Games is at right now. Wow. But people are probably seeing, oh my God, LA Video Games, 2 stores, 1 in Hollywood. They're seeing all these collabs, all these crazy things. But it really didn't happen overnight. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat equity, a lot of haters along the way,
That's standard for success.
Yeah, it happens.
Like Curtis, why do you have to hear bro?
Yeah, Curtis was on the front line.
I'm leaving those 2-star reviews. I'm sorry.
And it's been a really rough journey to where it is now, which right now it's kind of coasting and it's cool. I do have my good days. I do have my bad days like everyone else, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. And if people are hearing this and they think, oh my God, he was a Forbes banker, he comes from money. I do not come from money. So I want to say off the back, I was grown up poor. I was raised by a single mom. My mom was Filipina. My dad was Mexican. My dad left the picture when I was young. My mom grew up in the jungles of Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah, like legitly jungles, like swimming in the river, anacondas, jaguars, that type of style.
Wow.
Yeah, straight up. She snuck into this country through a cargo plane through Hawaii and then came into Compton where she met my father and they made a half Mexican, half Filipino baby.
Wow.
Fillican.
Yeah, Fillican, baby. You know, Ricky. I feel it from you.
Romeo was born. Romeo, I have to ask. So I know, and it's funny because you've been talking about this for a while, even to me on a personal level. And I've almost been trying not to ask you too many questions because I knew you were coming on the podcast. You have some stuff going on with like Amazon or Fallout.
Yes.
Can you explain? Because honestly, I was telling you, I'm like, I'm trying not to ask you so much, not because I don't care, because I want to kind of learn about it with the rest of the viewers and listeners.
Yeah. So the Fallout collab came because I have a store in Hollywood, right? So the Fallout show got nominated for a couple Emmys. So for the Emmys, they want to do a whole launch campaign to blow it up even more. So they sent scouts all over the United States, and they went to a lot of video game stores. I think they even went to one of yours.
And they
didn't tell me
Yeah,
that.
but they went secretly.
They told
And
you.
they-
Yeah.
I didn't get the gig. Sorry.
Bro, that is so. I thought Romeo was gonna like gracefully try to tread over that.
No way.
But it's like, bro, they visited you and denied you.
Right,
Yeah, the
dang. That
inside
means they-
scoop and
They
everything.
came in undercover then. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they went undercover and they went to all the video game stores. I have a store in Sherman Oaks in the Valley, and they went to every single one of those too, right? So when they were narrowing it down, they narrowed down to 4 video game stores, and I was on that list.
I wonder if I was on the list.
Far from it, my friend.
No holds barred. I love it. Romeo, you fit in real nice here.
Thank you, bro. Thank
You fit in real good.
So then what happened is that when they were narrowing down these 4 stores, I won't say who they were. The reason why they picked mine is because they liked the location of my Melrose store, right? But then when they went inside, they saw that I had these Fallout statues.
Oh, got it.
You know, I had like this big armor guy and this pit boy, and I brought those out to SoCal, right? So they went in there and they were really amazed by it. And so they talked to me, they had a conversation, and before they finalized this collab, they were like, we want to know some numbers. So they were like, how many customers do you serve on your busy day? So at my Sherman Oaks location on a busy day, a Saturday, we serve once every hour, like about 10 customers, right? But at my Melrose location on a busy day, Saturday, we serve 25 customers every 5 to 10 minutes.
Wow.
So when I told them those numbers, and those are real numbers, they were like, "Oh yeah, you're it." And I'm like,
Is that location like a slamming place where like you can't miss it, or is it just that in that area you're really well known, or both?
Both.
Okay.
Both. It's a really slamming place. Like Pink's Hot Dogs around the corner.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. If you guys collect sneakers, there's a store called Cool Kicks that their YouTube channel and they're blowing up. Constantly have all the tour buses dropping off people, like a shopping district. So it's just always crazy.
You're in a hot spot.
It's like an
Super hot
attraction, Melrose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Melrose. And
I mean, if
and you're next to round 2. Round 2 is another big one
Yeah,
too.
I'm right around 2. They do all vintage.
I mean,
You know?
Melrose Place. If you grew up in the '90s, Melrose Place
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had to go through, I had to be quiet about this collab for months. For months and months and months. I couldn't speak about it. I couldn't talk about it, even though I was so excited. I was like, I want to the whole world. But I had to stay quiet. It wasn't until they're like, all right, we're going to order 100 copies of Fallout games from you, and you're going to sell it for 33 cents. And I was like, oh, shoot, I don't have 100 copies of Fallout. So I had to really reach, because I knew the studios were going to pay for it. I had to reach out to every single video game store I know. Chris, that's where you came involved.
I helped out. I think I
Yeah,
gave you, how
definitely.
many games did I give
Like
you? Maybe
40.
40.
And they're all
I went
broken
to-
and scratched. Just kidding.
That's why you skip your store.
I did go through every store. Romeo reached out to me and said, hey, he explained to me what was going on.
Yeah.
And you said you needed Fallout games. How many did you say you needed total?
I needed 100. I think
100.
I think it was like 189, something like that. But at least I needed.
Did it have to be a specific Fallout or any Fallout?
any Fallout?
Yeah,
game.
I think I
Got it.
gave you Xbox 360, PS2. Was it PS2? I mean, not PS2.
No, you
Xbox
gave me-
360, PS4,
Xbox
PS3,
One.
Xbox One.
Yes.
I don't think there was a Fallout on PS2.
There was
no,
not.
there was not.
No, were those all from like one location, or did you like go siphon out from your other stores as well?
Just 2 California stores.
Got it.
I siphoned. Yeah, but I had 40 of them. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you helped out other video game stores like OG Video Game Geeks in Anaheim. They helped out.
yeah?
Yeah, they're really nice people. I went to as many people as I could to find video games, and I ended up getting all of them. And in the show Fallout, they live in an underground vault called Vault 33. And I had to sell the games for $3.33. But the studio's gonna pay the difference for whatever it was.
You're like, how's this
Oh,
work out
And,
for me?
and they're like, how much is the game? $40. And they're like,
Dang,
all
you
right,
could have
for
marked
sure.
them all off.
Bro, you should have
I was smart. I was smart.
120.
Dang.
So, but it was a lot involved. The studios were really up my behind. They were constant on phone calls, on emails, because Bethesda reached out to me too.
Oh,
They said, "Hey, you have this armor statue. Is it legit? Is it fake? Where'd you get it at?" And I had to give them all the details of where it came from, whatever, because Bethesda and Amazon were gonna make these one-of-one signs for each of my statues, which I brought one right here. You guys want to see one?
yeah. You brought a little
Yeah.
display?
Yes, they actually made displays for my statues. So the day of the event, which was only from 2 to 6 p.m., all the games were $3.33, and then they transformed my whole store into Fallout.
What's really cool? Oh, go ahead.
When did this take place? How long ago? When was the
It
day?
was last month,
Last month.
August something. I
August.
forgot. It's all a mishmash. I'm so busy.
And so, what will the footage go like? What were they were filming? I
They were
assume?
filming. They were filming, and they used the footage of my store at the Emmys that just passed this past Sunday.
Oh, so it was in the Emmys.
Yes, yes. We were
And
showing
Romeo
the
got
Emmys.
all of his signs changed. Instead of LA Video Games, said not Retro Games Plus.
So here's one of the signs. Now these signs are specifically made for my stores. There's none other existent. I have the only two in the world.
Wow.
Bethesda made it themselves and Amazon Prime, one for each of my statues.
That's cool.
Nice.
I was supposed to destroy it, wink wink, but I said that they got stolen by a homeless guy, and the one's right here.
Whoa.
Let me see.
Yeah. So here, check it out.
Oh, that's cool.
And then
That's cool, man. That it's just for your thing, though.
and they came in these special stands. So the stands, I didn't want to bring him here because they were too big, but they came on these special stands that go alongside with my statues. But along with some of the games for $3.33, Fallout and Amazon had these special promos. So if you were to buy a game, you got this canteen that came from the Amazon show. You got a Ferris wheel ticket because they transformed the Santa Monica Pier into Fallout.
Yeah.
And you got a special Fallout sticker. And I got one for each of one of you guys right now.
Oh,
really?
gifts.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever
You guys
brought us a
ready?
gift before.
All right.
That's it. Morgan,
Ben,
you're not
I'm
coming
so
back.
sorry. I know
Gallo,
you're in the
not
back.
coming back.
I'm going to hook you up,
Elliot's
Ben,
not
okay?
coming back. Ryan's not coming back. Only one to bring us a gift.
All right, ready? For this one, we'll give one to Curtis.
Kurt.
Oh, Kurto.
Okay. Here is one for Ricky. You have to open up on camera if you guys want to.
Ooh,
Come on.
dang!
I
There's
shouldn't see this.
Here is
Canteen.
one
Yo.
for Chris.
Dang.
One for Chris, but hold on. It's a package.
Wow.
There's more to it.
Put mine on the table over there, please.
Yeah,
I have a-
a
I have
little
a-
display.
Yeah.
Dang, I might put my water in it right now.
These canteens were so popular
Yeah.
that we ran out within an hour. And because people didn't want to buy the games, they wanted the promotional items.
People
Yeah.
love promo items.
They love it so much
Tell
that
us.
people were going crazy for these promo items that there was a crazy line that Amazon had to send some execs to come down and pull out the rest and be like, you guys are done giving them out. Just sell the video games. So when we got that, I was like, code red, put some aside, put some aside.
The next stadium events.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's a sticker that came out. So pass it to Curtis.
Thank you, sir.
Dude, I really appreciate this.
Appreciate
Yeah,
the
yeah,
gifts.
We're going to talk about more collabs that
These will
we've
be
done.
on eBay in an hour.
Okay. And then these Ferris wheel tickets that you see right here were only given to you if you're one of the first customers to come and buy the game. After a while, we couldn't give this Ferris wheel tickets out. And when you went to the Ferris wheel at Santa Monica Pier and they scanned it, they destroyed it. So a lot of people are fighting just for this as a combo package. Here
It's
you go,
still
guys.
good, you think?
Dang.
Well,
It's
still
not good at all, Chris.
It's not good. Dang.
Kurt.
Dude, I-
It's gonna head right over
Thank you,
there.
Romeo.
after
Yeah,
this,
dude.
right?
You're
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You know what's really cool too about this, Romeo? Like a lot of times, like it's really exciting that you got to do this. But I will say, sometimes like history goes down and it's like, let's say the show sucked. It didn't.
Yes,
The
it
show
did.
was awesome.
Yes.
The good thing is it was like well received in the community amongst gamers, amongst critics. So I feel like that also just locks it in history. If it was something that came and went, and you're like, oh, that's kind of embarrassing. I was a part of that. It kind of was stupid. This was like a cool thing that like the community all loved. So
It was cool.
Was it more promo for like season 2 coming out, or just for the Emmys?
just for the Emmys.
Just for the
Just for the Emmys.
I think that's cooler.
And it wasn't only me participating in this collab. Since the show they live in Vault 33, they picked 33 other businesses to be a part of it too. And there are some big heavy hitter names. Like it was like, I forgot who, Cantor's Deli was in it. They're selling pastrami sandwiches for like 33 cents, It was like Sweet Fin was involved.
Oh, nice.
It was like the Griffith Observatory, horseback rides for 33 cents.
Wow.
So it was a big deal. And I'm really blessed and really happy this collab happened because it opened up the doors for more studios to put eyes on my company.
Yeah.
And so like the next collab that we're working on is going to be on The Last of Us Season 2 on the HBO Max.
Wow.
Where they're going to come and transform my store into like an abandoned city.
Dang.
Yeah.
They're like, we actually have to ruin your store.
We're gonna break the glass.
We're gonna tear it apart. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had people calling that day of the collab since like right at opening. You guys, thank you so much. You guys reposted it on your social media channels. So did a bunch of the community. You know, a bunch of community showed up, and we had people lining up out there since like 12 o'clock. And we had to close the store at 1:30 and reopen it back up at 2 and let the line go through. So that was a pretty crazy collab.
That's always going to be a cool story for you too, regardless of whatever.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
How the heck did you have the confidence to go through with all that?
You only live once, man.
Yeah.
You only live once, and when opportunities come up, you have to grab the hole by the horns. What did I say? Right?
What the?
Grab the bull by the boards. Bull by the horns.
Chris is like, and they picked his store.
No, I think it's awesome, Romeo. I was happy to help you out, man. When you told me about it, I was like, dang, that is sick. So, yeah, congrats to you.
Thank you, man.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Heck yeah.
I think what a lot of people don't know about you is like, what do you collect for?
I collect for Nintendo 64. First of all, I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy. Huge. But I'm majoring in Nintendo 64. So I'm 11 away from a complete and box N64 set. And I have a minor and Wii U that I'm going for a full set.
Nice.
So once I graduate from N64, hopefully next year, I'll major in Wii U, and then I'll take a minor
Just
and
skip
Super
the Wii
Nintendo.
U, dude. The Wii U's trash.
Hey.
I love that you're calling it minoring and majoring.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's like I'm going to school for it.
It does feel like that though.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm fully majoring in original Nintendo NES era. So like, I mean, even these guys in group chats were like, okay, this came out here. This is a hotel kit. Like you're finding all the detailed stuff you would if you were in school about a specific subject.
Oh, for sure.
You're not just wanting dates. You're like, no, let me find the weird and the funky.
Yeah, definitely.
Heck yeah, dude.
Best N64 game for
Best
you.
N64 game
For you,
me?
what's your favorite?
Man, there's so much. I will probably say it's going to be a random game, but it was the first game I ever played on the N64. And it was the only one that my mom could give at that time because we were poor. And it was Quest 64.
Wow. One of the only RPGs.
Yeah.
On the 64.
Played hours on it. Because she went to a pawn shop and she got me an Ice Blue N64. And she saw a bunch of N64s. And it was me, my brother, and sister, and we were brats. So she's like, can you give these guys a game that will take their attention, leave me alone for hours? And the guy's like, oh, this one right here, Quest 64.
Did you like it at the time?
I did love it.
Okay.
I loved it. I fell in love with it. And that's where I got into my N64 journey, you know?
Because I know there's a lot of mixed opinions on that game.
Yeah. It's, don't get me wrong, it's kind of a horrible game, but I love it.
But you learned to love it.
Yeah, I learned to love it.
How did you go from like the banking industry into like gaming was it for you?
Oh man, that's a really good question. All right. When I was in banking and I was in Beverly Hills, I was one of the top private bankers for entertainment. It's like the top of my career. I went through a lot. 10 years of suffering, sacrifice to get to where I was at. And it was 2020 and I was working from home, and literally every single video game store I knew was buying inventory from me. They were hitting me up and they were buying my inventory left and right. And at one point I was like, I think I should just open a store and do it, right? But I was kind of like on the fence of it because I had a really good career, you know. I didn't think video games was going to be worthwhile like that. So I was like, but I said, okay, let's think about it. It was my brother. I'm not the full owner of LA Video Games. The other owner is my brother called Abel.
Is he younger or older?
Older. Now, he's not blood related, but I call him like my brother, just like how you and Ricky are.
Yeah.
Brothers. Exact same thing with Abel. Abel's like, kept pushing me. Let's do it. Because he pushed me to buy, sell, trade. He pushed me to go to SoCal. He kept pushing me along the way. So he's like, let's do it. You're ready for the step. You're ready for the step. One day, I'm getting a haircut at my barber, and I kept talking to him. I'm thinking about opening a store. I'm not too sure. And my brother was like, what kind of store do you want to open? I was like, I'm thinking about opening a video game store. And he's like, video games? I'm like, yeah. So he kept cutting my hair and I kept talking about it. Like, yeah. And he said, if you really want to open a store, why don't you open up one in the center? And I said, what? Yes. A spot just opened up in the center. The guy that owned it before owned it for 20 years. He went out of business because of COVID because he was a shoe repair spot.
Yeah.
So if you want me to put in a good word for you, I'll put in a good word. I said, okay. I looked at the spot. This was the one in Sherman Oaks. And I said, he's like, I'll put you a good word. I was like, okay. So then he calls the landlord. The landlord tells me the rent. And I'm like, jeez. And I'm talking to my brother Abel. I can't say. There's a reason why. He tells me the rent, and I'm like, I don't know. And then my brother came up with this idea. Well, why don't we rent cabinets out inside of our store to cover our overhead?
Yeah.
And I said, that's stupid. I was like, that's not going to work.
Kind of like a flea market method.
Yeah. But he said, look, you ran a bunch of video game events over the past 5 years. You know, a bunch of people in the community. Just send a message out. So I said, okay. I said, how many people do we need to rent out a cabinet? He's like, at least 10. So I said, okay. So I sent a message on Instagram to a bunch of DMs, to a bunch of people. I'm thinking about opening the store. My concept is I'm going to let you allowed to rent a cabinet from me, and you can sell whatever you want. I fell asleep. I just needed 10 people to sign up. The next day I woke up, and I had 30 people signed up.
Dang.
And that's when I said, all right, we're signing this lease. So I signed the lease, and I locked it for 3 years.
Wow.
Dang.
But I was still had a career, and now started my entrepreneur journey. And where everything switched for me, and I will say that video games have forever changed my life. Because the deal I had with my brother is like, okay, I'll let you own half the company. Just let me keep my job, so there'll be a cash flow, because we don't know where it's going to go the first year. And in case we fail, we have a reserve of cash coming in to help us stay afloat. He said, okay. Prior to becoming an entrepreneur, I was smoking, I was drinking. I didn't believe in God, whatever. Did not have a faith. I was just a wild man, hooking up with girls and all that stuff. We were...
A little bit of a flex.
Chris is like, my dream life?
He's like Playboy life right here.
But I was out of control. I was really out of control. Like, working deep in Hollywood, seeing all this corrupt stuff, I was like losing myself. And owning my own business was like a little bit of an escape. And I remember we're about to hit the 1 year mark. We're almost there, hitting the 1 year mark. And there were still ups and downs in the business. And I was stressing out because I was working like 16-hour days. So one day, I literally got down on my knees and I prayed to God.
Yeah.
And I said, yo, I haven't talked to you in a long time, big man. So I don't have that relationship with you. I'm going through a tough time right now, balancing a business and working full time. Please give me any sign, just any sign that this video game is what I'm doing is really it. Just any sign, I beg of you. That's the first time I prayed to God, like, I think like in 10 years.
Wow.
Right? Literally the next day, he showed me a sign. And that's what changed my whole perspective from banking to full-blown video games.
Wow.
Yeah. You guys want to know what the sign was?
I was going to say, can I know the sign?
Can I guess?
Yes.
Was it a Mario pole?
No.
It's an actual
He
sign.
provided that a lot later on.
That'll be a forecast.
And YouTube, I used to watch this show called Round 2.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a guy on there named Sean Witherspoon that was buying, selling, trading, but instead of video games, it was vintage. And they got him to blow up to design his own Nike shoe, right? And in the sneaker world, it's one considered one of the best Nike shoes and collectors, and it's going for like over $1,000. I knew who he was. So the day I prayed to God, I said, show me any sign. The next day, I go to work, I'm grinding it out. I'm dealing with a bunch of numbers, a bunch of stress. I go home, I change, I come to the shop. It was half an hour before the shop was going to be closed, and one of the last customers walk in. And who walks in? This guy I watched on YouTube, Sean Witherspoon. this guy travels all over the world. He's doing collabs with Gap and all these people. And I said, what are you? I said, Sean? And he said, hey, what's up, dude? And he brought his kids. I said, whoa. And I said, what are you doing here? And he said, I want to buy a Super Nintendo. So I told my store manager that collects at my Round 2 store, if I were to find a Super Nintendo right now in LA, which video game store would have it? And he said LA Video Games will be the best bet. So I came down here and you have 2 right here. And I said, whoa, thank you. He's like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna get those. I'm gonna shop around. He ends up shopping around, getting a bunch of stuff, and gets one of my LA Video Game shirts. And I said, how'd you hear about us again? He was like, my store manager, Ruben, that runs my Round 2 spot on Melrose. He's the one that referred me your way. I was like, wow. He's like, if you ever need anything, here's my number. If you ever come to Melrose, hit me up. I got you. And I said, okay, cool. Lock the store. I'm freaking out. Like, oh my God, that's Sean with us.
You're playing it cool. Yeah.
You know, my brother's like, who?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know who that was. And I'm freaking out.
That dude's a legend.
He's a legend.
I've ran into him before too.
Yeah.
Different story, but I ran into Torgum, the clothing place. When I used to
Really?
yeah, he was in there, just me and Sean one time.
That's cool.
But
That's
he's
so
an
cool.
absolute legend in like reselling because he's done it for so long.
Yeah. Made
Yeah.
$21 million reselling vintage clothing.
Dang.
And
to get his
crazy
own shoe.
collabs. Crazy
Mercedes.
collabs. Yeah.
So when he came in and I saw that lock the door, that's when I realized, all right, thank you.
Yeah, like
That's a
what are
pretty
the
good
odds?
sign.
Yeah.
What are the odds of that?
And then that led up to opening me up my Hollywood location next.
Got it.
Did you, because you're located right next to round two.
Yeah.
Was there any collab with Sean? Like, oh, this space is available, Romeo? Like, did you guys stay in touch or anything like that? Or did that space just happen to come available right next to round 2?
Well, how I got that space is that space was available, but we just hit our 1 year mark. So that happened. I met Sean, and then a month later, we celebrated our 1 year. And I said, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
We hit 1 year, let's rock and roll. So after the 1 year mark finished, I want to go down there myself and thank the store manager, Ruben, for sending Sean my
We're
way.
sending him your way.
And when I went down to Melrose, I went right into round 2 and I went to talk to this Ruben guy, but he wasn't there. So I was like, all right. As I walked out, I saw next door was empty. And you know how sometimes you have that gut feeling in you? Like that gut feeling? I looked at it and I said, I think this is my second store. Like, I think this is it, right? And I remember calling my brother Abel and I was like, hey, I think we're gonna open up a second store right now. And he said, what? I said, I think right now. Because when I was on Melrose, it was jam-packed. People walking up and down, left and right, like cars. And I was like, this is a popping block. I think we're gonna do it right now. He thought I was crazy. I got the phone number. I was still having my banking career at this time, so I had enough of cash flow to support it. So I called the guy and I said, hey, I want this spot. End up getting the spot and then having a second store location.
I think I told you, but I had looked at that spot.
I know you did. You did.
Because I used to go up to, I used to go up to Melrose a lot because of the vintage clothes. I like T-shirts, and so I would be up there all the time at round 2, and I followed them for years. And no, it's totally fine. It's totally fine.
Two for two.
It's a long way from Huntington Beach, and I would have been traveling up to Melrose. It's got to be traffic. Take me 2 hours to get up there.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, definitely.
So, but we would go up there, vintage hunting, and I saw that spot came available, and I was like, that is a perfect spot for a store. And I remember I think I saw it went so quick. It must have not been available very long because it was, to me anyway, when I saw it, I think it was like a week or two later, it was like, bam, LA Video Games announced they're going. And at the time, I was not like, oh man, I wish. I was not like, oh, I wish I'd gotten that spot. I was actually like, dang, I didn't know you at the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoever that dude is super smart for going in right there. So congrats to you on
And
that.
I think once I was opening that location, get waxed, Chris. I think when we opened that location, you're getting ready to open up your Lawndale location right afterwards.
Yeah, because I was in, I think, you get in, for me anyway, when I'm getting ready to open up another store, I have to gain inventory and there's a lot of going out and looking. So I think at that time I was just kind of in like, maybe I'll do a second store. So I was like, maybe Melrose, maybe Santa Monica, maybe here. And so I had already picked, I think, my Lawndale store. So I was out, but I had looked at that. It's a great spot.
Good try, Chris.
Great spot.
Good try, Chris.
Dang, I
How did
could have
you
had Fallout too. Dang.
And then for everyone listening,
And Last of Us.
And Last of Us.
the day I met Sean and the day I got that sign is the day I gave up drinking, gave up smoking, and gave my life to Christ.
Awesome.
Nice.
That's the day I met him.
That's the news
day
I like to
changed
hear.
it. I changed
And
it
when did
completely.
you finally like quit your job as a banker? Was it, did you open the second store or did you already quit, or when
I
did
opened my
that-
second store and I still had my banking job. So I had 2 stores, my full-time banking job. But then what really started changing it is that the second I opened my Melrose location, I had a major collab up. Like someone reached out to me. It's like, I want to do a collab with you. And once we did that collab, the following months later, I was like, nah, it's time to leave. And you ready for a second surprise?
Yeah.
All right, here's the second surprise. The first collab before Fallout I did it with a very famous artist named Neckface.
Okay.
And he's a skater. He's sponsored by Baker Skateboards.
Yep.
He's designed some shoes, which I'm wearing right now, called the Neckface SBs. Design stuff for like Vans, Supreme, and all that stuff. So he reached out to me and said, "You're my favorite video game store. I want to do a collab with you." And I got some of the stuff from the collab.
I've seen that he did the t-shirts.
Yeah, for you
That's
guys.
cool.
Yeah.
The t-shirts.
Yeah.
are awesome.
Yeah.
I got some expectations for
Chris,
the
you
new
never
guest.
bring us a thing on the show, bro.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna hook you up. Okay, I promise you get the best one. All right. So we did a collab with Neckface early 2023.
Okay.
And that was right after we opened up Hollywood a couple months later for spring. We launched the Neckface collab. That was the first collab any video game store has done that big to that level with that kind of
I
artist.
thought the same when I saw the collab. I was like, "Dang, that is super sick that you're
Yeah.
doing a collab like
Yeah,
that."
so-
So kudos to you for that.
Thank you,
Because I don't
guys.
think anybody
Thank you.
had done that.
Hey, 3
before.
for 3, right, guys?
Just waxed, man.
So
Slam dunk on him.
No, I love it, man. First off, I love to see people succeed. And your story of all the entrepreneur stuff, I have my own story how I got into being an entrepreneur and everything. So I love to hear it.
thank you.
Absolutely love it.
So when we did the collab with Neckface, we did it on April 21st, something like that, in 2023. And it was, we released these 2 color shirts, right? So he designed a special shirt. You guys are good. What size are you guys, by the way?
I'm a large.
Large. Got you.
XL.
Got you. Got you.
Large.
Got you.
Oh,
guys ready?
He knew I was fat.
All right. So Neckface designed this thing.
Oh, dude, I remember
yeah,
those.
I
Those
remember
are
this one.
sick,
Yeah.
bro.
And it's
Combat
based
one.
off his favorite video game, which is Mortal Kombat. So that's Scorpion's body, but his artwork onto bleed all over LA video games.
Yeah, it's
now
sick.
these orange shirts,
Yeah.
you could only get it the day of the collab that he was there. So we only had it limited to 144 of these shirts. And the day you bought this shirt, he was there. You got a poster from him, and he tagged up your poster too.
Oh, cool.
That's
So-
awesome.
Dang.
In our reserve, I put a couple, so you guys get a poster too.
What size? What size is it?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I think it's bigger than that.
Oh, I was gonna say.
If you want to open it up, you can open this up. That's a special poster because even though the shirts say LA Video Games, the poster, when you unravel it,
says not Retro Games Plus.
Get waxed. Retro
Oh, that's
his
games.
cool.
original work, and on top
Fatality.
it says Fatality.
That's actually fire.
And on the bottom it says LA Video
Dang,
Games
that is
Melrose.
Awesome.
So extra large for Ricky, right?
Yo, yeah.
I got you. Pass that to Ricky. Right there.
Chris is just gonna go. Shh.
Thanks, Christo. Oh, you're
Who's
XL.
extra large?
Kurto.
Kurto.
Right there, right there.
So
Yep.
There you go, bro.
Not gonna
We
hurt
do
you
not
for a
sell
minute.
these.
Poster is
We
awesome. Like
legally
putting them.
cannot sell these because everything that we sold in orange, the artist had to get. So we put a couple away because the artist was like, if you ever want to give away to the celebrities coming to your store, give them away for them, you know?
Just tell them
Yeah.
we're
So
like.
we have a little bit of a small reserve.
Tell them we're like in a tiny niche of celebrity.
Dude, this is awesome, dude. Appreciate it again.
I always tell my
on
wife.
the back
I'm
says,
famous in
Dude,
certain
Romeo,
spaces.
yeah.
That's awesome,
Here
bro.
you go. That's one for Chris.
Woo!
And then this one's for Riff.
Thank
and
you,
then
sir.
each one
Thank you.
Heck
we'll get
yeah.
a poster. So it was when we did this collab. That's when I
Dang.
knew, dude, I got to quit my banking job because it's about to get crazy. And
You're
then
like
from
things
that
are
point-
going good. Things are moving. This is like real cool stuff.
And from that point on, it went off the wires. From that point on, because from there, so many people saw the store.
What was it like when you quit with your coworkers, right? So you were in the banking business for a long time. Like, were your banking buddies, coworkers, were they all kind of like, wait, what are you doing?
They actually didn't know I was an entrepreneur.
They didn't know you were doing this
I
the whole
did
time.
not tell anyone. I kept it a secret. I did not tell anyone. It wasn't until the very end that they're like, "You own a business?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah, I do," and I'm out. And they're like, "Good for you."
I know that world. I work also in a a very public place as well. And when they're like, what do you do on the side? And I'm like, video game, like stuff on the, and they're like, huh? Like Fortnite? Like, no.
Yeah, because when I quit my job, I was in real estate, like corporate commercial real estate.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember telling my boss, like, "Hey, I'm I'm done here." You know, kind of had my history of like doing it on the side, and then for me it was very difficult for
Chris,
me,
we
like,
know.
making that transition from that world into the video game world.
Yeah.
And it's actually even taken me years and years and years to fully like become like, this is who I am.
Embrace it in a group of like new men you meet in suits and like, what do you do for a living? I'm like,
It's always still weird.
Yeah.
video games.
And it's always still weird. Like even when you are in a group of like professional people and they're like, "Oh, do this. I'm an architect. I'm a lawyer." And then you're like, "What do you?" They're like, "What do you do?" And you're like, "Oh, I own video game stores."
You're like, look at my shirt, bro. What do you think? Look at my clothing. What do you think, dude?
Yeah.
Right?
They
So-
looked at me sideways. They were like, video games? You work in Beverly Hills? I'm like, yeah, I own a video game store. And they're like, okay.
That's when you just throw out a fake number. You're like, dude, I made 17 mil last year.
But I didn't do that because I was like, but look at all this people that are coming through the store. And then they started seeing it and they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't even think that even just the storefront, like even like kind of puts that as an example of like how many people come like to your store. It's more of like how many people that are influential that don't talk about it, but then just show up. Like, like even I think at Elliot's store, he had Chance the Rapper just come by at a rant.
And the guy from, even though he knows him, one of the dude from Stranger Things, Pastor Doichi, the high guy who gets high on
Oh,
Stranger Things.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
He comes
yeah,
by a lot. And it's just fun to see those kind of people pull through in the scene.
And then it's surprising enough to see some of these people that are very like influential, right? They have millions of people, followers, stuff like that. It catches me off guard when they come to the store and they're actually gamers.
Oh, yeah.
And
that
they-
happened in SoCal a lot.
Oh yeah, like a couple
A
people
lot of
like
celebs are just popping in. We're
I was
like,
like, Riff, take a picture with that person.
I'm like, who is that? Who is that? He's like, he has millions of followers. Go follow him.
Yeah.
Take a
Yeah.
picture. I'm like, okay, I guess. But yeah.
And then when you start talking to them sometimes in video game language and they're talking back to you, I'm like, ooh, okay.
They know their stuff.
I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
really?
It's always awesome to connect like that with just people that you wouldn't know.
Speaking of knowing their stuff, if we don't look at this, we'll never get Ricky to talk.
All right, guys.
All right.
We're switching to a new topic. It's gonna be just around like pretty much an appreciation to NES covers. Are they good? They're bad? They're great? Just talk about a couple that are on like my laptop right now.
Oh, they're all good.
And I don't think they're all good. I'll show a couple that aren't. Anyway, the first one that's up is going to be 8 Eyes for the viewers at home or the audio listeners at home. What do you guys think about 8 Eyes?
Yeah, if you're an audio listener, go ahead and pull yourself up an image of the 8 Eyes cover by Taxan. First of all, I will say before we get into that box art, the game is a underappreciated game, very similar
It is.
to Castlevania.
It is.
I don't
from
think
the-
I ever played it.
From the way you
Fantastic
walk
game.
to the
It's
way
good.
it looks, it's very Castlevania.
And it's affordable to play. So I mean, that's what.
It's cheap,
It
right?
is. It is. It's a very affordable game.
I think the cover on it is absolutely beautiful.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's sick.
Amazing.
It's so sick. Look, there's a guy like dying hunched over on the pillar. There's a skull in the background trying to get him from the back.
Look at the castle in the back, almost like Castlevania.
Dude,
So
it's a
sick.
mixture of everything. Like it's got the skulls from Zelda. Then the guy dude kind of reminds me of like a Castlevania mixed with He-Man. But
Yeah.
the cool thing that I like is that falcon right there. I'm like, oh yeah.
Why the gems and the 8 Eyes?
Part
Did
of
you
the
collect?
game.
Yeah.
Part of the gameplay.
Were you trying to get those gems?
Your final boss is Thanos.
Sick. They do look like the gems from
What are they called in
the Infinity Stones.
Infinity
Stones.
Stones.
They look exactly like the
last
Infinity
good Marvel
Stones.
movie.
I just like how much detail went into some of these covers, even though the games didn't reflect that in the pixelated part of it.
Yeah, there are definitely. I would say Atari is the most guilty of box art not matching actual gameplay.
All right,
Yeah,
we're
I see
gonna
that.
switch on to.
Oh, he's got a whole list. But open up any of them, bro.
Let's go.
Now let him go on his own.
Oh.
We can't jump in. Let him jump in.
All right, this one. What do you guys think? This, like I said, it's not gonna be all great. What do you think they could have done better here? Alien 3 is what I'm talking about, guys.
They could have put action on there, not just an alien. Like
It's just an alien, a xenomorph, but it's not even a full xenomorph. I don't even know why it looks like that.
they should have put what's her face?
Ridley.
They should have put Ridley like fighting that alien. Then that would have been a really sick.
They could.
cover.
They had so much they could have done with this.
So they are all great.
I like it.
I like it. I love the color.
Romeo.
Oh, do
The
you? I
black
don't
and
like it.
green. Come on, that's a good contrast of colors right there.
I think it has a sci-fi
Mystery.
feeling. Maybe the black could have a little more texture within the background.
Yeah.
But the only thing throwing it off to me is the LJN logo is like super bright and happy. That's what it is. But I'm with Romeo on that one. I don't hate the Alien 3.
I
it.
love it. I love the green. I love the black. You know, it looks mysterious. I like games that have like a mysterious cover to it. You know, because you don't know what you're gonna get yourself into.
Contra Force.
Oh,
that's a
come on,
sick
guys.
I love it.
Analyze it, Ricky. Tell the people. What are you thinking?
That looks like the LA riots to me, dude. I'm like, oh shoot, let's go. Is that
That's everyday life. Yeah, it's my city. Oh my god.
Are they in front of Retro Games Plus?
Is this Romeo's next collab?
Well, oh, yeah. I mean, it's interesting because Contra Force is, a departure from Contra 1 Super C. Technically, it is part 3, but it really was a different game that they just reskinned as a Contra Force. So you see more characters in there. You see 4 main characters, which is there are 4 characters within Contra. I do like that the helicopter is synonymous within the Contra games, right? So that still feels like the Contra that you feel within a Contra game.
Right.
The guys in the front, the knives.
Come on, that tells you it's gonna go down.
It's Nicolas Cage and Wesley Snipes, bro.
For sure. Look like that.
I just think there's so much detail that they put into some of these covers that, man, they didn't get enough appreciation.
Chris,
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
I love it. I mean, I like any of these that are hand drawn like this are amazing. And there's a big market for like the original artwork for these. If you can find them, a lot of them go for like 10 grand plus. Like, I don't know if a lot of them don't exist. Like, I don't know if the original artwork for this exists.
I think his name's Mark Erickson, who did a lot of like Mega Man stuff.
Yep.
He was going to a lot of conventions for a while.
Was
and
he really?
drawing for people like, hey, draw me the Mega Man cover, and he'd draw it, and I don't know what he would charge her, but I thought that was cool just to be like, I feel like that's an underappreciated thing. Like Curtis said, like going and having these people, the original artists of games you love. Like, I would kill to have the guy who drew Chippendale's Rescue Rangers to draw me that. That would be, with my face in there or something.
When
and
did
your
they-
goatee.
on the new cover arts for games, like, did they even are they hand drawn any of them? I don't even know if any of them are hand drawn.
but
They just ask AI, hey, draw
Just,
this. And
hey,
it's like, bloop, let's throw it
Most
on
of
there.
it's probably on
Yeah.
computer generated.
Just computer generated, but
mean,
maybe there's an artist behind them
That's what I'm
still.
saying,
Maybe
There's got to be, but
Cuphead? That's still hand drawn.
and
Was
there's
that
still-
hand drawn?
I believe so.
Cuphead was a massive feat with an art
That's why it took
itself.
so
the
long.
art is incredible.
But if you look at a lot of newer games that were like, I'd say maybe like 8 years ago or so, like when we were in the age of like first person shooters and, like the Destinies and all that stuff, most cover arts were like a singular person on the cover, just like overlooking like a mountain or something. There was like a shocking, I think I even posted about it way back in the day on my other channel. Like I was at a Target or something and I was like, oh my gosh. And I took a picture of the wall and it was like 7 of the covers looked exactly the same. But there was like no like love or influence, I guess, within it. But the one we're looking at now is World Champ for the NES. What do you see here, Christo? What's in your brain with this?
Well, first I just see the dude punching his face. I don't know who the artist is on this, but his face is all scrunched up. And it's still good. I like it. I like the colors of it. I just don't know. It looks like the artist might have needed some more work.
I know what they were going for.
What?
They were going for straight up Rocky. See, but this time Apollo's going to beat Rocky.
Oh, maybe. He does kind of look like Rocky, the guy getting punched.
He does.
Yes, he does.
He's got the long.
And the other guy kind of looks like Mike Tyson-ish a little bit.
His forehead's a
me.
little bit
Yeah, it's for its
weird shape.
Yeah, it's just an odd
I
look.
feel like the angle of the punch coming in, him looking up, is kind of a weird perspective shift that almost makes it look a little off, but not. But I feel like the colors.
I like the colors. It's still good.
I love the logo, the colors of the World Champ, because it reminds me of that one popsicle that you would get as a kid.
That motion, yeah. That
push pop?
No, it's like the rainbow pop. Not the rainbow pop. It's
I
like
think it was fire something.
It's a big
Fire-
stick. It's a big
I know what
stick.
you're talking about.
That color reminds me of the
does
big
look like a
stick,
big
and
stick.
that's
Admit that
very
I knew it.
nostalgic for me.
I didn't want to say it.
Did you know I choked on a big stick? Curtis.
I don't want to hear that.
No, whoa.
I almost died. It was the closest I've ever gotten to death.
No
How
way.
big was it? 7, 8, 9?
The entire big stick.
You shoved it.
Sucking on it.
Ben is dying
No,
over
listen.
there.
The entire big stick came off. Ben, don't be upset because I'm talking about your dreams. I was sucking on it, and the whole big stick came off, and it at once it went the whole big stick, and it lodged itself right in my throat like that.
Oh my god.
And I couldn't get it down for anything in my
Did those things
Oh
with
my
the
God.
big stick have the gooey surprise in the middle too?
No,
I got a question. How hard were you sucking it?
very. I had the power of Curtis's mom with me. I was going full suckage.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Dude, I was panicking and I started like a bird, like, and it wouldn't go down. And I'm literally turning blue, like freaking out. And I just turn on hot water in a cup and I just start lightly dripping it down my throat until slowly, but the whole stick all the way down.
All the way down.
Not one.
Took it all.
One, dude. Like I said,
Curtis will tell you,
Yeah.
it gets easier if the more that happens.
I don't know about you guys, but I would have paid to see that.
Curtis will tell you the first time is the worst. It's the hardest.
Oh my god.
So on to Arquista's ring.
Okay, so what's going on with this next one?
So audio listeners, pull up Arquista's ring on the NES by Sammy. And it's very cool, but also a little bit
Vague.
what's the word? Not even vague, just like, I don't know, like, where's the rest of the guy's body?
That's true.
Like, what are his hands like? Are they
He's a
grabbing her?
popsicle, bro. Half popsicle, half machine.
The colors are very big stick again.
I always liked this one. I don't know. Whenever I saw this game, I'm like, dang, what is that? With the elf.
It's a good game.
Yeah, is it a good game? I think I played it a little bit. I don't really remember
she
it. but-
kind of reminds me of Zelda a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that.
It's
She's
like
got
Megatron versus Zelda.
yeah.
She's got that Link look.
Yeah, definitely.
I do like the main enemy's look. I feel like the thumb is kind of off perspective as well, but it is a very cool looking enemy. But it is a fun game. It's a little.
I love that you can tell it's like hand drawn. Like you can actually see like
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The
This
brush
one more
strokes.
than a
Yeah, I'm
lot
like,
of
whoa.
them. Like, yeah, it kind of reminds me like Mega Man 1, where you're like, oh, that thing is hand
Yes.
drawn. Like,
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to show a little bit of appreciation to some of that art right there. All right, let's go on to Bad Street Brawler.
Man,
Oh, whoa.
he's doing a big stick reenactment. I don't know how I feel about Bad Street Brawler. Part of me likes it, part of me hates it, and I don't know what it is.
I don't like that he already kind of looks zombified. Like it takes away the color. out
But
of
it,
you
but
know?
it's Duke Nukem, dude.
It has, yeah, he does look like Duke Nukem. He looks like a little bit of like Drago as well, but I
Got
think the
Rip
colors.
and Ricky in the background on
I
the
feel like
right.
I know.
With Toki on the left.
I'm looking at those two guys high-fiving each other. Are they high-fiving because the guy got knocked out or like...
Yeah, they're like, oh, and is that Harambe on the left?
What the
Oh, I
heck?
didn't realize it says Thug Thrashing Defender of Freedom. That's kind of sick.
Oh,
That's
dang.
cool.
I will say I like the colors, but for some reason they're not popping as much as I wish they would in that color scheme.
Yeah, like if his shirt was a little bit brighter in the front, but I kind of like the whole positioning of it all. It's pretty cool theme to it.
Like flying through.
Yeah, and the
box
Bad
art.
Street Brawler font is pretty darn awesome. Whatever
Yeah,
that is,
it is pretty good.
darn cool.
I like the font, but I'm not a big fan of this cover, man. I will say I'm not a big fan of this one. It's just kind of like a lot going on at the same time.
There's a lot going on.
Did
Yeah.
anybody ever play this with the Power Glove?
Not with the Power Glove.
No.
Could you actually punch? Did it do anything?
It's been so long since I've put this. It probably is one of those games I slapped in and was like,
Yeah.
This wasn't good, right? I remember playing it. I did not like it.
I don't think so.
Bucky O'Hare.
Oh,
baby.
come on. I'm going to high-five
That's
this
a
one. I'm
great
going to clap for this
About
one.
as good as
I
it
love
gets.
this one.
Yeah.
Come on.
So good.
Well, explain why.
So good. Yeah.
It's got a lot of stuff. It's got a lot going for it. A lot of colors, a lot of characters.
colors.
It just it almost like gets you excited. It's got action on it. He's shooting the gun. I love like when I was a kid. That's what I was looking for. I was like, oh heck yeah, this is what I want. Plus, I love the show.
I feel like it looks very comic book too.
Yes, it does. That's so cool. I feel like he's gonna pop out at that cover. Like, come on, guys, let's go. Like, it's so sick.
I like that too because I feel like a lot of branding nowadays is so simplified.
It is.
Like a lot of companies are taking their original logos, even like Pepsi and Coke and any app, they'll just make it the most simplified white background logo. That's it. But I feel like this was a different time where they're like, how much action can we put into this? And again, interesting because the last game had a lot of stuff going on too, but it didn't feel like this.
Yeah.
This feels like the colors are there, the greens, the yellows, the reds, the characters that you know, even the characters you don't know right behind them. But yeah, it's
like
just
you would have had to like lick a toad to make this.
Lick a toe?
Toad.
Oh.
Hallucinogen based.
If I had ever seen this on a shelf as a kid, I would definitely want to play that game. I don't remember ever seeing it. I think it was a later release, I believe.
Especially during the area of anthropomorphic animals being popular, like street sharks and Cowboys Moo Mesa and turtles, and you know.
And did you watch the cartoon at all, Rick? You watched it? You did?
I did.
You did?
I never watched it. I missed it.
I did not go that far. I was excited, and then that excitement went away.
Yeah, I feel like it was like on TV and then off TV, so fast.
I like the arcade game a lot as well.
I never played the arcade. I didn't know there was an arcade. Really?
Very in the lines of like a Simpsons or a TMNT.
Oh, no kidding.
That's cool.
That's got to be a really rare arcade game. I've never even seen that.
Whoa.
Mechanized Attack. All right, again, audio listeners, Mechanized Attack. Pull it up.
There's like a dog in the bottom left and a guy. Oh, it's the guy who's holding a gun in the front.
So it's first person. They're coming at you.
I'll just say I always never liked this one. I couldn't figure out what the heck was going on in it. It's almost like too much happening, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's almost weird to look. I do like the guy in the right, like the Tom Selleck looking classic guy. Definitely was in a porno at some point coming at you.
For sure.
But the dogs look a little off. It's kind of confusing because the guy on the right as well is like in a scuba gear, but he's like running through shallow water and kind of on like a grassy thing. So I feel like I do like the art. I just don't feel like it came together.
True. Facts.
Correct.
And I agree with that one.
Yeah.
I will give it that this is a good cover art.
Like G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I will say with Chris, it's a lot going on, but just for the fact that it's just so much detail into a cover art makes it good.
I like that.
The artist is really good.
Yes.
Whoever drew it, I do like.
Yes.
I like everything except for the letters.
The letters.
That's the one thing I didn't like. I was like,
and like the metal coming out of it. I never understood that.
so
Like, what
ugly.
is
The
that?
metal coming around, it really ruins it, to be honest.
Dang. All right. Well,
You know, when I first saw that one, I thought it was the actual wolf holding the gun. I was like, yo, shit.
I never realized that it's a guy holding the gun. we have him zoomed up.
This is cool.
Okay, so Blues Brothers, for those listening. I absolutely love it. It has that overly cartoon look, and to the fact where like purposely like symmetry doesn't make sense. Like the buildings are bending around it, and everyone has like that overly cartoon bend to their body. Like the crow on the top has a little bit more like flow to it than it should. I absolutely love this cover.
I do like
art.
it 'cause it gives it that fisheye effect.
I do. Yes. I like it too because it brings like a nostalgia factor of like Blues Brothers at Universal Studios. You know, when they were on the stage and joking around, those two dorky guys. Damn, that was so cool. This is a phenomenal art cover. And there's people outside the windows too, like pointing down at them. Yeah, that's a phenomenal.
I just feel like they
art
didn't miss on this one. Like they felt it right where it wasn't too much.
Yes.
I'm trying. What Blues Brothers was a movie, of course. Was there a CD and like a vinyl record?
I'm pretty sure they put out like a whole thing to go. I don't know what came first, but I know there's like music, tons of music involved with this.
Like I feel like did they take the cover from what like the movie and almost like cartoon it? I think it's very similar.
Oh,
I believe, but I'm not 100% on that.
Ricky, what do you think of that one?
I love it. Listen, as a kid, I'm looking at this as when I was a kid. It just, you're right. It's cartoony. It just looks like something fun to play. I'm like, oh, this looks really cool.
And I will say it actually is pretty like perspective to what the gameplay is. It has that kind of that same vibe.
Was it a good game?
It was a pretty decent game.
I never played the game, so
Decent game.
All right, we're gonna go with Tony. The Last Ninja.
So first of all, The Last Ninja. Second of all, I don't know where they got this award from, but apparently it's Game of the Year. According
Just
to
made that up.
is that my uncle?
so here's the real question. That's either an Asian man or like a World War II white veteran. I can't tell.
He doesn't look Asian at all.
Could have
He
been
does
Clint
not
Eastwood
like
in Gran
Asian.
Turismo.
Oh, Gran Torino.
Torino. Turismo. Always mess up.
I will say, I actually think it wouldn't be that bad if that game of the year was gone. I feel like that's completely throwing off because they very much went for like centered. I like the font of Last Ninja, but
Awesome.
the game of the year is throwing me off. I wish that was gone.
I actually really like it. I don't think there's many other like white NES game boxes.
Yeah,
There's a
some
few.
baseball. Yeah.
Rockin' Cats.
Rockin'
Base
Cat,
Loaded 3.
Base
Great.
Loaded
Uh,
3.
How do you say that? Jellico? They went with
Jellico.
a lot. Whatever. That company went with a lot of white box style.
Whenever I see this game come in, it always catches my eye. I'm like, dang, that looks awesome. Just something about it with the orange and the white. And
I would say this almost sticks with like the look of what I was saying of modern, like very white, simple. You see it, like it's very obvious. There's a ninja.
yeah,
It draws you to it. It's pretty smart.
I think he only had like one finger. Did you see that?
Oh.
I don't think he had individual
pulled it.
fingers on it.
I pulled it. Good luck.
Just in
Hold it.
time.
Beetlejuice.
Romeo, what you thinking?
Don't say it three
This
times,
one,
Curtis.
classic. I'll be honest. I
Beetlejuice?
wasn't a big
Beetlejuice.
fan of the movie. The movie Tim Burton. It's kind of weird. Rewatching it now, weird. But that cover art, come on, a headless man. The guy's holding the head in his palm. He's like, "Hey, what's up, guys?" The girl's right
Ooh,
there.
That's a good Beetlejuice.
This is thank you. This is a really good cover art. This is really, and I like how the sun has faded, and you see a little bit of the purple in there going to the black sky on top with the moon on the side. Beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it very much sticks to Beetlejuice. Like it's, sometimes you get things that just completely throw off from the brand and you're like, what were they thinking? That has nothing to do with the brand. It's not on brand. This feels very, very, very on brand. Almost reminds me of Maniac Mansion a little bit too.
Ooh,
yeah,
Maniac
yeah,
Mansion
Maniac
is
Mansion.
such a good cover and game. I like this one. I love the movie. Second one, I just saw it. Anybody see second
No, I
Beetlejuice?
wasn't.
Nope.
I haven't seen it yet.
Can I just put?
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
You didn't like it?
Damn.
I heard a lot of people didn't like it. I heard a lot of
Did you
people
see
didn't
it,
like it.
Ben? Anybody? Oh yeah, no, I didn't like it. I loved the first one though. Was this game good? I don't never played this game. Either.
It's a game you need to give it a longer go than when you first play it. I feel like you'll think it's not that good. If you give it like a level or two, it starts to become pretty enjoyable.
All right. Kickmaster.
Oh, baby. Yeah, that's a
Damn,
good one.
That's fire.
So
That's
sick.
literally
My
demons,
God. This is like
ninjas, and women.
Yeah.
All good.
I didn't want to go straight with all the Dungeons and Dragons covers because all those cover arts look so sick.
They do.
Like even the Pool of Radiance one, I'm like, oh, I could have put that on there, but like this is sick.
Yo, this one's like it's almost like a ripoff of like Tetris meets Gargoyle's Quest and then Strider.
Whoa, Ricky, that was a good
Dang.
call.
I'm like, shoot.
That is very accurate what you just said. Kickmaster, in case we didn't say that, I think we did.
But it's a good game.
That is a beautiful, beautiful cover art. I think it's just such an embodiment of like the epic 80s. This could almost be like one of those like romance novels from the 80s.
Yes.
It just
Oh,
has
yeah.
Yeah,
such
good
a
call.
cool
Yes.
look to it, man.
You hit it right in the head. When I
Bad to
said
the bone,
80s,
almost like a little sexy too. It's just rad.
I
Yeah.
think of all the ones we've looked at so far, this is my favorite. This one
Yeah.
is so good.
Dang.
That's-
All right.
What'd you say, Ricky? Strider? What and what?
Strider,
Tetris, and Gargoyles.
and Gargoyles.
Ooh.
All right, next one is Battle Chess.
Interesting.
I will say it for being a chess game.
It looks sick
I will
though.
say it's probably the coolest chess game artwork you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like that would be the case, right, for a chess game.
I think I've actually never even looked at the art that close because I would always see battle chess and I'd just be like, this is garbage, garbage, garbage. Like I had no interest in it. But you're right, the art is actually pretty good.
It's actually really cool if you look at it. Like the knights in the back are standing in a knight's position. Like everyone is standing in their proper tile too. If you look on the floor,
Yep. True.
I think that whoever did this deserves a definite like award because imagine being an artist back there and they're like, you got a new gig and they're like, sweet, it's by Data East. Oh, dude, what am I doing? RoboCop? They're like, no, you're doing a chess game.
That's awesome.
So obviously that's the queen and she is just straight blasting the knight.
It's awesome.
Which is pretty darn awesome.
is cool.
What's
Yeah.
the thing in the top left? Like, what is that? A face?
It's a big
What is-
Gorlak or
I don't
something.
know.
Is that supposed to be the king? Like, what is
No, the
that?
king's on the side. You can tell the king's on the
Oh,
side.
so the king's
chilling,
in the back.
That's probably
watching this guy get murked. So he's just
It's
kicking
got
in
to
the
be a
back.
rook. Yeah, Ben.
A
You're
what?
right.
A rook? Oh, it's like a castle.
And I used to play this game all the time. And there is fight scenes. Is it-
Really?
Oh, yeah, I played it a lot.
Wow.
I am horrible at chess. My brothers and I would play just for the fight scenes.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Before we say what this is, don't let your bias speak for you. This is the Legend of Zelda cover.
This is a poop cover.
I'll go on it. I mean, obviously the game is the best game ever created, but the cover is, well, I'll say two things. The cover and the artwork is not great at all. It's just, they could have done so much with it, but it is gold, which is pretty awesome. The gold is great. The cover could have been amazing and is not.
Garbage.
I feel like it's so hard to like. This is one of those true tests of don't let your nostalgia outweigh, because I want to be like, no, it's the best. Look at it. It's so iconic. It's the most like iconic cover, and it is. But if you were actually analyzing it, it's like literally a few different fonts and my shield tattoo, basically.
Yep.
Like you're just going pretty darn. Put it this way. Imagine if right now we swapped that font, Legend of Zelda, and threw the Legend of Zelda on that battle chest cover. You'd be like, that's the coolest
sick.
cover ever.
Yeah.
Or the dang Famicom. That cover is so sick.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ricky, what are you saying?
No, I was gonna say the same thing as you. I was like, dude, just switch this cover with the battle chest, and you'd think it's like the same thing.
You think it's epic?
I'm like, oh, battle chest, there it is.
I don't understand how like they went from the Famicom, that being such a cool cover, and then they were like, our US version, let's just poop some color on it.
Literally the most like brown, straight, and not even a gradient. It's a flat color.
What do you think, Romeo?
I think the cover does not justify how amazing the game is. I feel it's bland. It doesn't reflect any character at all. And the game has so much character and story and adventure. That's a horrible cover.
Just for why also is there two hearts, and what is the dragon? If that is a dragon,
Griffin.
It's a griffin, but there was no griffin in that game.
Or it's a griffin.
Yeah,
lion?
really?
What
That makes
is
no
that?
sense.
The key makes sense.
Yeah,
One
the
heart
hearts.
makes sense. Why would you do two hearts when you could have done something
I
else?
don't think I ever realized it was too hard.
You could have put
Yeah.
a sword.
Or a
Why didn't you
rupee.
put a sword or a rupee?
my
Yeah, two
tattoo is
hearts.
nice and faded, but look.
You have it?
Oh,
It's a dragon.
it's a dragon.
Dragon, do you look? You like griffins?
Griffin.
I'm gonna be Griffin, your
mom.
we got time for two more. Let's
All right.
do Spider-Man Return.
Oh yes.
of the
That's
Cinema-
awesome.
Come on.
That's sick.
That's really
so
sick.
good.
It's got all the well, not all the characters, but it's got a good amount of characters in there.
Has good bad
love
guys in
it.
his eyes. Yeah, you got like Vulture, you got Doc Ock, you
It's a
got
comic.
Electro.
yeah, Green
Beautiful.
Goblin, Electro. You got the guy with the head. I forgot his name.
Hobgoblin.
No, with the bow.
Mysterio.
Mysterio, right? So good, so good. And you got like old school Spider-Man, like pre-Tobey Maguire, pre-Tom Holland, all them like original OG comic book Spider-Man, and that mask with those lines they pop out, and he's about to get at it with all those 6 bad guys. Oh my god!
I think the only thing that's ruining it is that LJN.
No, it's ruining it. It's not even the LGN. My brain, as like a person who does like a lot of graphic design for people, just that placement. I get it. They have to probably put it there.
Yeah, but it's like
yeah, yeah.
right
Right
just
in
like
the-
minimize it.
Yeah, it's like
put it
right in
somewhere
the
else.
block of the view. But yeah, no, that's sick. I can't argue that. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
even like a
it's a-
Marvel guy, but that looks amazing.
That is amazing.
I love that. Like they actually fit all that into one eyes. Like those two eyes. I mean, like
Yeah.
all the
Right,
characters.
right.
That comic book is one of my favorite comics too.
All right, let's do it. Let's end on a banger.
Oh,
As
yeah.
good as it
Come
gets.
on, man.
Yeah.
Turtles 3,
You
the
know.
Manhattan Project.
Turtles 3.
The absolute detail of this cover is crazy.
This artwork looks like the true. I forget I only know the last name, Lard or Laird, Laird.
Eastman
Eastman
and
and Laird. Right, but that's like they might have even drawn that because it looks so true to the original comic books that came out.
And if you look, only Leo has the different color bandana in this one.
Oh,
They all have red, and then one blue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know,
that's
kinda-
a good
Donnie
observation.
looks a little purple, barely though.
It's just crazy to me that how pretty that is. I feel like that TMNT3, the Manhattan Project logo together just in itself is such an iconic and
It is.
beautiful logo with the city floating, which is obviously in the first scene of the game, but
What is that villain's name? The Triceratops. What was he called?
I can't even remember.
Ricto?
I think it's Sarah.
Sarah?
Seriously?
Like
No,
C.
just kidding.
Michael
It's
Cera?
like C.
I think-
No, it's not
No.
Bebop Rocksteady. Bad.
I honestly think that like with all the green, I feel like even all the different shades that they used on this, it just doesn't feel like it's overpowering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the colors just seem to mesh just like perfectly on this thing.
They're so on steroids, dude.
Why would they not have done the
For
individual
sure.
colors on the bandanas, though?
Well,
How
they
did
did it
that
on
happen?
part 1 as well because of the comics.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Dang, didn't even think about
I
that.
didn't even know that. I didn't even know that.
All right, so we're gonna be going on to like maybe a little bit more of a dicier subject.
Ooh.
Basically, we didn't want to like ruin it while we were at dinner tonight, and one of those things is like you come across a lot of cool stuff. One of those cool things is Mario stripper pole.
Statue Mario from Target.
And I was just wondering, like how many do you actually own?
Them or me?
No, you.
Well, yeah, okay, sure. We had one. We sold it to Chris, but yeah. But basically, I think what Chris is even saying is like what we were talking about kind of earlier is like there's so many pieces in the collecting world. Like we all collect video games, right?
Yeah,
like,
we
hey,
do.
we got games, we got games. What happens when you get full sets? Where's all the weird stuff?
Yes.
Where's all the promo stuff?
Yes.
And you get into the line of not for resale. Hey, this wasn't supposed to be in the public. Hey, these Mario stripper pole, as everyone calls them, Mario statues, still have the not allowed to own this, must speak to an employee to get it. How do we feel as people who, let's be honest, we kind of collect that stuff that maybe was an employee award that's not supposed to go out? Like, is there even legal repercussions for any of this? And I know someone in here who has 15 of those Marios.
I do. I have
That's
15
insane.
Mario stripper poles right now at my warehouse. And I got one of them signed by Mario himself. I met him at a Collecticon. He signed it, and I took it right over to PSA and had it certified
Chris
right
Pratt?
there.
That's what I was.
No, wait, we should clarify for those who don't know, because not everyone's as dumb as us and spends thousands of dollars on plastic statues. We're talking about the Mario poles you see at Targets.
Yes.
Yeah.
The scene, we'll call them the stripper Mario poles. But
Yeah, they're known as stripper Marios. They're Target exclusives only to America. There's a couple of different variant ones. Like the ones in Japan, they're a little bit more bigger.
Oh.
But they're only at the Nintendo stores. In New York, they have one over there that the flag is bigger. The Mario's a little bit smaller, but the pole is longer. But the one that people usually see are the ones at Targets. And I have about 15 of those.
Also referred to as the one screw Mario, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
There's just one screw that holds it in, and people were running in and unscrewing the one screw.
Yes, yeah.
Were they acquired any other way, Romeo? Do you know? Was it like backdoor employee stuff through Targets, or like are people just literally running in and grabbing these?
No. There's district managers that take them off and they sell them on the side. Just keeping it real with you guys. What's happening right now is that Nintendo does know that there's a lot of them that are taken out the store. So corporate Nintendo of America did send an email out to the big shots at Target. So a lot of the Mario stripper poles that you see on Targets are gone. And to the people that are listening, some of them are probably gone in your store. That's because they're forcing the employees to destroy them in the trash cans.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's really happening right
Looks
now.
like we're on dumpster diving.
Let's go.
I think I read recently that they were just pulling it all together. Like within the last month, I think I read like all of those are going to be gone.
Yeah. So you can find them at expos being sold for like, I seen them in expo sold up to 3,000 on the East Coast. I seen private sellers sell them to collector for 5,000. I don't know how much you paid for yours.
Waxed.
Like on the table laying down wax.
Ricky and I just sold him. Ricky and I just sold him one.
And that's your first one ever, right?
I have one.
But I will say
yeah.
it's cheaper than all of those prices you just named.
For sure.
But I was happy to get one because I do like collecting kiosks dating all the way back to early, Super Nintendo kiosks, GameCube kiosks. All of those were owned by Nintendo. They were not meant to be sold. I'm curious, like what the time frame is where people are generally kind of what is the time frame where Nintendo no longer cares? I feel like I don't think they're going to come in and take my Super Nintendo kiosk. They just don't care anymore.
It's not something they're actively can make money off of.
Right. But it was acquired at one point, just like the same way that this Target Mario was. And then at what point does the community kind of like, yeah, that's acceptable. You should have that too,
A lot of that stuff, like because I used to go to the GameStop to get all their stuff, they just toss it. Most of that stuff's trash.
Yeah.
So how can they come after you with something that they were going to throw away anyways?
Yeah. Right.
They can't. And
I feel like you're saving it.
You're saving it. If anything, you saved it. Yeah. If they try to take it back, I'm like, dog, save this one to trash. What? I'll sell it to you for full price.
Which makes me wonder, like, why does Nintendo even care that much about it? Like, why do they not want that stuff out there? I don't know.
That's a good question.
They may or they may not. It may just be someone filling their job position. And hey, your role is to make sure and send emails to all the people. But in actuality, they may not actually care. It's just someone doing their
just doing their job.
doing their job.
Well, there's other companies. I know, like Lego is very, very like particular about. They do not want their stuff, all their sales.
Display
point of sale,
items, yeah.
display items, going out to market. They want it all destroyed. All those like cool, like there's like the diorama things with like the Lego pieces in them. But I never really understood why they care that much. I don't know.
Now I will say this about the Mario shipper polls, right? I seen this great YouTuber called K Quarter talked about at SoCal that he got one. I brought 6 out to SoCal for display. I know people, whatever you paid for, I honestly think in the near future for those Mario stripper poles, that will be a $10,000 piece for sure.
They are limited.
Yeah, they are super limited. They are getting destroyed. They are getting pulled out. So many people, I can name 20 collectors off the top of my head right now that want one and can't get one. That piece is only get more valuable over time. That's why I haven't sold any of them.
That's why I bought one too.
Ricky and I were,
maybe I didn't get waxed.
You did. You did it.
Trust me, you did.
These guys over here 10K, and they're like, "Dang, we got waxed."
We're still waiting for you to give us a deal on a Nintendo game.
And I know people in the comments below are gonna say, "How much did this guy pay for 15 Mario poles? $500."
Dang, yeah.
A piece.
Yeah.
Not all together. I wish.
You have the biggest come up of anybody.
500.
That is an
I
absolute.
paid a lot more for mine because they are hard to find. But I think I agree with you just because there's like a whole kind of story that's gone around these now for a couple of years now. You know, people have been.
Well, I mean, and if you think about it too, like, okay, let's name Huntington Beach. How many Targets are there in Huntington Beach?
1,
2.
2.
There you go. 2. That's
But one,
2 in Huntington.
I think there's 3, but there's only 2 that are big stores.
So
and
there you
was there
go.
a Mario poll in there? I
Not
never
the
went
little
into
ones.
look.
Only the big ones get them.
So there's your answer. 2. Costa Mesa.
And they didn't even have
1.
them. Yeah. So right.
They will become very limited. And I would dare say,
sure.
even like those big statues that Ricky has, like there's like 400 of those out there.
Yes. So it's probably only like 700 of those total.
Yeah. For your
Something like that, and that's it.
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of bummed. I went to the Walmart that's over by. We only have one Walmart in Huntington Beach, and they had the Donkey Kong Mario display for Switch, and I've been waiting. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna try to ask to see if I can get it, and then they ended up remodeling the store just a week later, and it was gone, and the entire gaming section was just reduced to nothing. And I was bummed because I was like, no, I wasn't waiting on that. I wanted that.
It's funny too because like you say that, I remember when like the Mario polls started going up in Targets, and I remember immediately sending Ricky a picture. I'm like, have you seen these Pulse Marios that are going up? Like these are for sure going to be like the next thing, because a lot of times, you know, displays, they'll make a little cardboard thing, little cheapies, but these were like, you immediately see like, oh, whoa, these are nice.
I was going to say, I think it'd been a long time since they came out with the statue. Like they had the statues, and then it was just cardboard for forever. Cardboard.
Like 3D displays, the games.
There have been kiosks. There's a Wii U kiosk. There's a Switch kiosk. But other than that, like a statue, I think it's a long time since they came out.
The last statue that came out was N64 era, where he's like pointing like that with the big nose, small. That's the last Mario statue
and
we have seen.
Star Fox too.
Star Fox, Pikachu. I want the Pikachu one.
So for this generation, for the Switch, and think about all the kids that are going up with the Switch right now, and they go to Target and they see that statue, those kids are going to be hunting at one point. And I got 15 for you guys. Ready?
Well, even dude, I think it was on Cake's like list to get one, and he was like super stoked to get one.
He traded Clay Fighters, a Clay Fighter sculptor's cut,
and money
to get a statue. And those statues, you guys held one. And for the viewers that haven't held one, they're pretty hefty.
They're big. It took me a while. I just put one up, and it took me a while.
The Mario
to put
itself,
that
there's
thing
a
up.
picture of me when we got it. You'll see it, or people who, if they watch our main channel, Pixel Game Squad, you'll see me like hold it, and you'll see it's like above my head and like to the bottom of my waist. Like that's a full size big Mario. And it's funny, we got ours like on happenstance.
It's not a cheap plastic either.
It's not plastic.
It's like ceramic or wood or something. Because when I was putting mine up, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I do not want to drop this thing." It would have just smashed into pieces if I dropped it.
If you go to my stores and you look, 'cause I have 2 store locations, I got a Mario stripper at each location. If you ever look up, I have mine actually spinning.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
So when the store turns on, he starts
And you put
automatically
dollar
spinning.
bills in his
I was like,
pants.
make your magic, baby, make your magic today.
What about prototypes? How do we feel about prototypes? I just started getting into prototypes. I'm scarily starting to get into them more. Is there any like should or shouldn't own with prototypes?
No, because some of those companies don't even exist anymore that make some of those games. And as we go more into a digital era, prototypes, that's such a dark, deep rabbit hole and such a niche collecting thing that the legalities behind it will be impossible.
True.
Because some of those were never even released.
Yep.
So
But
you're pretty
what
safe.
if you profit on them by completing that game? You know what I mean?
Oh, like if you finish developing in a different way or something?
Right, you dump that ROM into a computer, and that person is smart enough to be able to build off that game and create something off of it and make money on it.
Well, if that company still existent, then yes, I think there will be some legal repercussions.
I don't even know how you go about dumping a ROM and then how would I have a prototype that I'm staring at. How would I even dump that onto a site?
There's ways to rip it, like
You rip it, yeah.
There's ways to rip it into a PC, like you use like an old
Got it.
And then you can just download it into other ROMs. You could make a card.
Or I guess I could just plug it in, hook it up to an Elgato, and record the gameplay too, so people could see.
NT Mini Noir has the ability
to rip it.
Oh.
Dump.
And I have the analog mini
Yeah.
and TNOR.
But I don't know the history of all the prototypes, like for NES and Super NES. I have some prototypes for Sega Saturn, Sega CD. I don't think I have any. I think that's the latest. Maybe some Dreamcast prototypes. I don't know about like anything for GameCube. But my understanding is a lot of them were like being sent out to people to like try this out kind of thing.
Or fix the bugs.
Yeah, fix the bugs.
Yeah.
So they were sent to like people to test. And so the amount of how many exist is very like unknown on all of these. Anytime I've ever come across one, I've just stashed them away. I love to collect them as well because you don't ever see them.
Yeah.
They're one of one.
There a lot of them one-on-ones. Maybe there's a few. But the legality of that, I don't think they were meant to ever be sold. Like if they were given to somebody to test,
No.
they were meant
No.
to be like
I mean, even if
destroyed.
you-
Maybe I don't know.
First, Ricky.
Oh, go ahead. I always wondered, like, if there's how many of like one game there are, because they had flaws, they sent it back, did another one, flaws. So like, how many of these actually like you could have like Tailspin, but you could have like 4 different ones because
I like how
those
he's saying
4
that because he has Tailspin. Let's say Tailspin.
Let's see.
I feel like interesting enough is like Turok on the N64. Which one is it? When it comes back, there's an error in the game, and then you have to send in a cart to be able to get one back.
Turok 2.
2.
And they give you a great cart, I think, back.
And like that was so rare.
Was it the multiplayer that was messed up or something on one of them?
Dude,
Remember what it was?
forgot. But,
I
I mean,
don't
I
know.
didn't have enough money to send one in. I don't know.
There's shipping involved?
Yeah, that was a little kid when that happened. But what was interesting is Chris came across just paperwork to be able to develop the game. Like, imagine if somebody actually computed that and actually programmed it and made technically their own game and just modified it here and there. You know?
That was all for the Tandy. That was from a developer's estate sale. So it was all acquired. That was acquired
Wow.
legally
Yeah.
because a lot of legality came up in that, which is like, hey, wait a second, this was this guy's property. How do can you sell this? And it was like, yeah, when it traded hands from his estate through the estate sale, people that ran it to now I'm the buyer, it was all legally done essentially. And we sold that stuff and for a pretty good price. It was like paperwork stuff. He was developing like Pitfall 2, which was an NES game. We sold a lot of that stuff for like $5,000.
And
There's a lot
that's
of
crazy too because seems like a lot too, especially because it's for something like the Tandy.
There's a very hardcore Coco color computer, Tandy community, which we reached out to on Facebook. And there was mixed opinions about it. Some people were like, oh, you should donate this, you should go to a museum, all that. And I was like, listen, I don't know the value of it. We're just going to run it at auction.
You can donate some money to my bank.
Yeah, we just ran it at auction, let the price be determined by the market. I didn't know the value. It went for more than we thought it was going to go.
What you originally thought it was going to go for?
A couple $100.
I thought
Wow.
like 700.
Honestly, it
And
was
you sold it
all
for how
stuff-
much? 5K?
Yeah, and there was people that were a little bit upset that we were even selling it. Like, you should donate it. Why? How did you get this? I said we were at the estate sale, and Blake and I went back at the end of the estate sale on the last day when they're throwing everything out, right? And I said, you know what? We should go back to that place and take a look. And they were literally like had this stuff set by the garbage. It was ready to go into the
Wow.
garbage, and so we got it for very cheap because he was like, I'm ready to throw it out. And then we didn't realize the value of it until we started talking to the people that developed those games. They knew that there was like undeveloped games in there. So in a sense, I don't know whatever came out of it, but they knew that there might have been a lot of undeveloped Tandy and Coco computer games. So they were super happy that it was saved. Most of them.
Now, what do you guys think about like a Nintendo OEM official signs going out, like a World of Nintendo sign? What do you guys think?
I love that.
I mean, I know we all think they're god level and beautiful pieces.
The cat's meow.
I don't know. I just have this weird. The cat's meow. That's the what's it called? The grandpa
Pawn Stars.
from Pawn Stars. Yeah. I just think that stuff is. I don't know. I feel like once it goes out to the store, Nintendo walks away and goes, "Here, this is for your store," and it's display. It's for your store.
Well,
Well,
but
like-
back in the day, they didn't give you had to order from a catalog.
Yep.
correct.
So
Yeah.
you legally owned it. Whatever they had, you say, I want this, this, and this. And if they had it in stock, they'll ship it out. And if they didn't, they will make it. So some of those stuff on that catalog, some of the stuff is like 2 of 2 because not that many stores owned it.
Yeah.
So there's no legal repercussions of those signs or those items going out. Like, for example, myself, I have a Nintendo Neon sign, World Nintendo sign, KB Toys cabinets, World Nintendo cabinets. I got some really rare stuff. I bought it, and legally, the people that owned it before, they bought it. So there's no legal repercussions for me.
Yeah, it's almost like storage units. Like you feel like, well, you had your chance, and now you bought this thing, and it's I guess it's mine now.
I wonder if there is like a statute of limitations on it, like legally, where Nintendo, like with the Mario stripper poles right now, like if they knew we had them at our store, could they come in and be like, hey, we want that back?
Legally, they can, actually.
Even though like I bought it off of you bought it off of somebody, like it's traded all these hands, but could they come in and go, oh, and that Super Nintendo kiosk, that's ours too. Like we want to take that. Like I wonder if it's like a court would be like, oh no, that's
The
40
FBI.
years old.
I feel like it has to be current enough.
Yes.
Right? It like the difference is, let's just be honest, modding a Nintendo Switch versus modding a NES. Right? Like it's like, what do we care about the NES games? We're not making money off that. An interesting thing too that I always think about as an editor is every YouTuber that you possibly know that does YouTube videos, I'm talking from the big dogs to the small dogs to everybody, uses NES and Super Nintendo music all day in their music. I do all the time.
Yeah.
Every video.
Yeah.
Every video in history, all the Scott the Woz and Don Trons, they all use it. Nintendo, nobody's ever gone copyright stricken. But if you upload a new song in your background that's from Breath of the Wild, you probably get a copyright strike real quick.
Because it's relevant.
It's relevant.
It's relevant.
So that's why I always wonder about the Mario polls. Like it is relevant. So that's why Ricky and I were smart and passed it on to you. So now it's in your hands.
Well, there is a little sticker on some of them that say property of Nintendo.
His has that.
Yeah, so legally, if they do see it, there is
Yeah, and
a
I
that
don't-
says to
I'm
come
gonna
get
start
it.
scratching
I
the
don't-
stereo codes on.
I wonder if there is not a statute of limitations, like it never would run out. Because, like, I don't want to go too deep down this story because it's kind of like Dusty's story. He had that Star Trek piece. It was in the news. It was the Star Trek Enterprise piece from, like, I want to say the 70s. But the claim was that it was stolen at one point, and it was like 50 years later. And I think if they had been able to prove that it was stolen when it's recovered 50 years later, they were trying to say like, oh no, that's still mine. You know what I mean?
And
like
I think, wasn't that supposed to sell for like $2 million or something?
yeah.
And
Like
they-
if I-
That's why.
they
That's
can't-
the high end.
It's still tied up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, they can't. And here's a story. Recently, on one of my Hollywood locations, a collector, someone came into his house and robbed his collection, right? So he called my store and said, hey, bro, my collection just got robbed. If it comes your way, can you let me know? I'm like, yes, of course, I will do that. I said, have you reported to the cops? The cops say they can't really help out because unless he has video proof of it and receipts and all those transactions, then there's nothing they can do. Their
Video
hands are
proof of
tied.
him buying it?
Video proof of him getting robbed and each item getting robbed. He had receipts, invoices, whatever it was
Yeah,
for
who
all the
has
items.
that? Nobody has.
No one
that.
has that.
Nobody has
No one has that. Everything, everyone in the collecting scene is buying it either secondhand from a
Swap
game
meets.
store, swap meets, etc., private collectors. Who's giving invoices out like that?
Nobody.
So his collection was robbed, I think, like $15K.
I can't imagine if we went to the swap meet. We should try it. Every vendor we go to, can I get a receipt? I'm like, ¿Qué pasa?
I think one thing now that you kind of touched on that subject a little bit, like, has that ever happened to your store at all? Like, because I know theft's a real thing in California.
That's a real thing in LA.
Oh yeah,
Big time.
LA,
big
big
time.
time.
I got, like I said, I have a store in Hollywood. It has its blessings and it has its curses. I deal with homeless people every other week, crackheads. I got people robbing other people and then coming trying to make me bucks. So does that happen? Yes, it does happen more frequently than ever because there's a lot of people out there right now with these tough times that are struggling. The only thing that we don't take that's too suspicious if a guy comes in and he's selling me 25 copies of Smash Bros for the Switch. It's like,
you just grab that from a local Walmart supply.
yeah, like, all right, bro, I know you don't have a wholesale license. You got some holes in your shirt. So what's going on? You know?
You're like, bro, I can't do that. I'll take them for $5 each.
He's like, actually, I'm Nintendo. Let me get the
You're on the back.
Now, I wonder if like a thing like a statue, let's just say the Mario statue pull, right? Let's just say, I wonder if, say they did come in and say something. I mean, long shot. But what if they did and you're like, no, I actually I'm a prop designer. I made this like to be a perfect repro of one. I wonder if you could get away with something like that.
No, because then you're using the likeliness of a AAA character that they own as trademark and registered, you will get sued.
Watch out, Wood.
Wouldn't it? I was like, oh man.
They're coming after you.
Don't give out his name.
I'll just say I got it from Wood. I got it from Wood. He's on the East Coast.
All right, we're gonna move on to ranking iconic '90s toys, guys.
Ooh.
All right.
Adult
Yes.
toys?
Sure. One of those things. I mean, I feel like you guys would know a lot about is. Let's start with the first one. It's gonna be
90s toys.
Mighty Max.
Ooh, I love Mighty Max.
You can start, Ricky.
All right.
And if you don't know it, Romeo, just say I don't
I
know.
don't know any of these toys. I was so poor I don't even have any of these.
You got
All
the
right.
bootleg?
Maybe Street Sharks.
Maybe make commercials. You go.
Go ahead, Ricky.
No, but
Mighty
dude,
Max.
the reason it's not the greatest toy. I'll tell you that. It's not the greatest toy, but the show. I used to love the show so much. Max, Virgil, Norman, freaking awesome show. But that's why I got so into these. But as toys, they are. It's like a Polly Pocket.
I mean, that's what they are, essentially.
Polly Pocket. Too little.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just always lost them. I could never keep everything together. Even when you find them now, you're like, oh, it's just a
It never has the figures in it
Skull
anymore.
Mountain, no figures.
Now we're ranking the toys, though, right? Not the show.
Yes.
The toys, yeah. For me, what do you give it, Rick?
I didn't even get a score. Because I like it so much, I'm gonna keep it at a B.
Ricky's going to go, I have to rank these?
He's done it on the last two.
Wait, we're ranking.
I'll say C for me, strictly because I actually would think they'd be an A if they were bigger, because I do like Mighty Max and the branding.
Yeah, the show, like you said, Ricky, was good. Toy wise, I'd say it's like an E. I just did not like it. It didn't fit in my hand. It was so little. E for me.
Nothing for you, Romeo, on this one?
I have no clue.
Dang.
It's gonna be just around this way.
Ooh, baby, starting off low.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah,
blow.
Dang.
That's a low blow.
That hurt.
Let's see. Talk Boy.
Oh, I did own these.
There you go.
Yeah.
Go
There
ahead.
you go. There you
All
go.
All right, start us off then.
I'll give that an A for sure. Great movie. Fantastic thing to play with. I like the slow motion. Hello, Mr. Baby. I
Oh,
love
yeah,
that toy. That I actually had a talk boy and a talk girl growing up. They gave the talk girl
Dang.
to my sister, but Loki kept it.
Rich.
Must have been nice to be rich, dude. I'm going to go A, dude. That was fantastic. Retro Rick has like the whole collection of everything Talk Boy and Talk Girl sealed.
Really?
Like all the way down the line. There's way more stuff than you think.
Yeah, what else
Really?
was there?
There was like pens and gadgets.
Oh,
and
really?
different color variants. And yeah, they're all in the blister packs too.
He has everything?
Yeah.
Rick, I know a good. If you have a problem, let me know. I got a good person that can help you out with your
To
talk
buy
boy.
'em. Yeah. A for me.
Chris, Rick.
Christo?
I'd give it a B. I don't know if I'd call it like a true toy. It is a toy, but it's like a recording toy. But the movie was great, and I used to play around with this thing, so it is still a toy. But I think of when I think toys, I think of like
I know
action
Ricky loves
figures
it.
and
No,
stuff.
no, it's toys, dude.
It's toys, so
It could be
it doesn't
a
have to
super
be-
soaker. It could be anything.
Yeah, it could be anything. All right, so I'd give it a B.
All right, sick.
Ricky?
A
Yeah,
B?
drag-
Ouch.
I'm gonna drag it down to a C.
No,
Oh.
Rick, it's a-
You're right. It is just a tape recorder, and it sounded
Yeah.
nothing like the movie.
Dang, I
I was
thought
a
you
little
liked it.
disappointed. I'm not gonna lie.
275.
I liked it, but I didn't. You know, I got tired after like 10 minutes. I'm like, all right, that was cool.
Where's your Christmas spirit?
I think they actually had some legal trouble with this thing
Wow.
because at the time the technology people were doing like weird things with it. I can't remember the story, but I heard a documentary about it recently where they were like they were doing things with it, like causing trouble and saying, now I remember what it was. Too many people were saying things inappropriate, recording it. So when kids come by later and press play at the store, it would say like "F you, mother," whatever. So they had to legally change the packaging to where you couldn't record it.
Oh, wow.
All right. Next one's gonna be Captain Planet figures. Ooh. Let me hear
As
it.
much as I love Captain Planet, I was not big on their toys. Once I learned that the show was trying to teach me things, I felt betrayed. I never want to learn while I'm watching cartoons.
Such a good message, though.
Yeah,
It was a good message.
Bunch of
Save the
hippies.
planet.
Yeah, save the planet.
Bunch of hippies, man.
Oh, man.
I'll say the toy was a C.
See?
Yeah, the toy line wasn't my favorite. Even though I think I have quite a few of them.
Anybody else?
I never really played with it. Obviously, I've seen the toys before. The show was great. I love the show.
was
It's
great.
one of my favorites. I'd give it D. I don't know.
I love the show, D. Ricky?
Show was great. Toys, not so much. I don't know what it is about the toys. I just never, you know, when you watch a show and you actually want to play with the toys.
Yep.
This never gave me that feeling. I didn't even want to be Captain Planet at all.
I was going to say the only one you might want to be is
Yeah.
Captain Planet. The rest were just like kids.
Yeah,
I
they
couldn't
were,
name
they
any
were.
of them.
Yeah,
I don't
not
know
the
where any
freaking-
of those were.
You ever seen Don Cheadle as Captain Planet?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so good.
Some random, purposely diverse cast. What you got, Romeo?
I'll probably give it an E
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Oh,
all right, all right.
for sure. Yeah. Because
wax
the toys
kids.
didn't really pop out so much, you
They
know?
didn't.
There's no like accessories or
They felt
anything.
thin and cheap.
Yeah. So
D.
Yes.
at the bottom. The show was cool.
I was waiting for Ricky to give me a rank this entire
He said, "Did you give me one?" I'm like,
He didn't.
D.
Trash them, bro.
All right, yeah, they're on D. I'll make it smaller. All right, the next one will be Power Rangers.
Oh,
Dang.
sick. Old school Power Ranger
So
too.
when we're talking just like the figures, you're already at like a B. But when you're talking like all the freaking
The flip one.
big old flip ones, and then you get into all
Yeah.
the freaking Megazords and all this, that tosses. I mean, you freaking the packaging on some of their toys with like when we're talking, you combine everybody, easy A.
I agree. Yeah, the Megazords are just
Fire.
freaking believable. And all the great show, of course. But the toys themselves, like the Black Ranger, Green Ranger stuff, all that, like the swords that came with that,
Pink Ranger.
the flute, like, or was it the flute, or you could play the
Yeah, you can play the sword.
the sword? Yeah, it was awesome. It's a solid A.
You didn't know that, Curtis?
No, I just thought he was talking about something different.
What, the skin flute?
What was your
One time I sucked on a big stick.
What was your rating?
I gave
He
it
just
an
gave it an A.
Romeo,
I'm gonna give this toy line an S.
let's go.
An S for
Let's
sure.
go.
Could be an
The
S.
show is sick. The bad guy was sick when they transformed and they got into their dinosaurs and that go Power
How
Ranger.
good was that guitar
Come
solo?
on. And they're talking to the guy before they go to their battles, like
Yeah,
today, you know. And then the
That was
toys
by
came
far
out.
the worst part of the show.
Was his name Zordon?
Zord?
Yeah,
that
Zordon,
guy's the
yeah.
worst.
And then you get the toys, and you're just like,
Ricky
S.
Ricky knows Rita Repulsa.
I do.
Do you?
Oh, no, the robot. What's
Zed? No.
no?
What's the little robot's name
I
that
forgot
talks
the
to
robot's head.
Lord Zordon?
She lives in my neighborhood. She goes like to conventions and stuff. I didn't even know. My wife was telling me. I was like,
Bro, why wasn't she at SoCal?
because she's expensive.
I'm glad she wasn't at SoCal.
For me, I'm gonna give this thing an S tier.
Let's
I-
go.
I didn't have these, but my cousins had them, and I would play with them. I'm like, dang, dude, this is pretty legit. Because I was older by that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still played.
Dude.
Star Wars.
Okay, you ready for this?
Mm.
F.
I'll make it easy on you. I'm giving her an F too.
I'll give it an F as well.
They are. You go if you start up a store. This is what happens to people. They start up stores and they go, "We should buy some toys." And then you go to a flea market for the first time you've never been. You're like, "Look at all these cool '90s Star Wars toys." You can't sell them for $1 each. Nobody wants them.
His soul's hurting a little bit.
No, I mean, you're right on that. Like, I have these in every one of my stores. They do slowly sell for like $5 a piece. But as an actual toy, the one thing I would say is you never actually saw anybody open these up and play with them. They were just like buying them to, it was back then, it was like, not even collectors. It was like speculators. They were like, oh, all the 70s Star Wars toys were worth so much money. We're going to buy boxes and cases and all of these, which is why there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
But when I do look at them, I literally was just straightening them out on one of my stores the other day. I was like, oh, these things again, they're all over the place. And but they're pretty cool toys. So I wouldn't give it an F. I would probably give it like a D.
Guys, it's not that bad. E. That's just a straight up
Romeo?
F, dude.
I give it an F.
He said F.
Yeah,
dude.
you gave
Oh,
it
no.
that, dude.
It was
For
F,
sure.
F,
We're just going on to the
D.
next one while I figure this one out. All right,
That's
next
a straight up F,
It's
dude.
like
No,
just a
well,
bit
I guess I
above
clicked that
F.
one. Jurassic Park.
Oh, this line is sick.
This line is sick. I'll say an A. I actually love the Jurassic Park line. And they do have kind of a cheap feel to them, but just the dinosaurs, there is weapons, things shoot. The branding of Jurassic Park is just so pretty to me.
Didn't they take battle damage too?
Yeah,
Like, can
they
you
did.
pull off? Like a lot of like their things would
The
come
dinosaurs
off.
you can
Right?
pull
Like it would come off.
They're
Yeah.
like meat, right?
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Those. I remember those.
Look right there. Look right there. The
Yeah.
Triceratops.
Oh, I
And the other
see
one.
it. Yeah.
On the three horns.
I
That's
remember
pretty
being
awesome.
young and going to Walmart and then or Kmart actually, and then seeing the big T-Rexes in the toy aisle and just playing with it. Oh my God. Yeah, I'll give it a C.
I was not ready for that.
Way to give us the heartwarming backstory, then just dump
He's
on
like,
it.
these are awesome.
The reason
So
I give it a
good.
C because I could
C.
never afford these C.
Best toy ever. Christo?
Dinosaurs in general as a toy are just incredible. Anything T-Rex when I was a kid, I was like, give me that. That
For a
is
kid.
like,
for
Dinosaurs and
sure.
trains.
dinosaurs, trains are pretty
too.
good.
Trains are sick.
Trucks are good, but dinosaurs, Godzilla, obviously, like a T-Rex style creature is just incredible. So I would give it a B. It's pretty darn good.
Did you ever have a train that was like metal and like would blow smoke?
Oh, yeah.
Lionel.
Those are so sick.
No, Richie.
I heard they're like $500 now.
It's
Right?
Lionel, right?
Lionel.
Depends.
said
It
A.
depends.
Really?
I'm an A. This is awesome. I love the dinosaurs. The characters, not so much. But I did love the heck out of those dinosaurs.
I had a
Wait,
crush on Laura Dern for
Furbies.
Oh, those things freaked me out growing up.
Furbies.
They freaked me
I'm
out.
gonna go with an E.
I'm gonna give it an F.
I don't like them. I
funny
never did.
Because they're like one of the most iconic ones. On
They
there.
are iconic. I just don't want them in my house.
Yeah.
And they were hard. Like they were hard
heavy.
holding them. They're heavy. They're hard.
I don't even remember what they did.
They
What did
open and blink their eyes, and they
They can talk with each other.
Yeah.
They talk with each other.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why they were so
But,
big,
like,
because they could
freaky.
talk.
But if someone goes into your room, it'll like it'll start talking. So you
So
know
it
which
could
one's
recognize you.
like it has a motion sensor.
So I think it was one of the first toys that had that. It must have been.
they were
Yeah, yeah.
hot.
They
They
were, I think that's why they were so hot. I don't know. I remember them coming out and just being like, "These are terrible."
D.
Yeah,
D.
I'm gonna go E, just because maybe it was kind of cool. They had motion.
I
sensors.
liked
E.
actually collecting them for a while. But then
cool motion. E.
Yeah.
I give it an F. I have to get these and chuck these.
I actually liked collecting them for a while.
No way you're collecting these?
I did. And then I realized I liked money more. So they quickly went the way of the willow.
Street Sharks.
Oh,
Oh, come on.
that's another A.
For sure.
This is
Street Sharks
S,
are
dude.
fire.
This is S for sure.
Street Shark. I'm only not saying S because there's one other toy line on here that I can see that I want to give an S to. Although my favorite toy line of all time isn't on here, Curtis. I'm very upset.
I don't know what it is. So
That's okay.
I will give this an S. Like when you see these things in person, they are just such incredible toys.
They are.
They're like built. They're
Beefy.
muscular. They're beefy. They just look incredible. Even if they just put them on a shelf, they look incredible. I'll give it an S, especially for 90s. Yeah, S.
I think a solid. Sorry, my bad, Rick.
No, go ahead, baby. You're the guest.
Solid A, definitely. Because the cartoon was bad to the bone, man. They were so sick. Solid A.
they were so well made as figures too.
They were. They don't make toys like that no more.
Yeah.
They don't.
Funko Pops. Sorry, Mikey.
Ricky?
Solid A as well. I loved it. I love these toys. They're great. I'll pick them up if they're at the swap anytime.
Ooh, I think that ties.
As long as they're cheap.
I think that ties Power Rangers. Dang.
Nice.
That's good. Those
That's
are two
good.
top
Those
tier.
are good. Those are good.
All right. So the next one will be let's go with TMNT.
That's my
Oh.
Oh,
S.
shoot.
Ooh.
That's my S. I love the turtles, and I love how they never stop changing. I loved the sports ones, and the mech ones, and the different lines, and the cow samurai ones, and the tongue ones, and the pizza shooters, and the vans, and the
And the squishy heads.
helicopters.
Yeah.
They never stopped.
Riff
S
already
for
said
me.
it. S for me, too.
Ooh.
I'll go S. As far as like accessories for any toy line, I think they beat anything.
They never stopped.
They're just every toy had so many different nunchucks and like different things they were with it, swords, everything. So I would give it an S.
I'm gonna give it, and I'm gonna agree with everyone, an S.
All right.
Yes.
Let's go.
Because I remember my mom getting me a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle motorcycle.
Yep.
And it will flip and do all this stuff, and the toys were so good and so fun, so colorful. This is an S tier without doubt. Until this day, people are still collecting these.
100%.
Hardcore.
What's your favorite one if you had one?
Probably the okay. Let me think. My favorite one's gonna be not the pizza shooters.
Transformer?
No,
I like the samurai ones.
Those are fire.
Those were
pretty
Those are fire.
I just think anything Mikey. Mikey's just been my favorite. That's
Anything
what I always
Mikey?
get as a kid. Just everything Mikey.
Ricto, what's your favorite?
I just love the van.
the van was
I was so
awesome.
excited to get the van.
Sick. Yeah. The blimp.
The blue.
Because the blimp will
yeah.
always burst.
Yeah,
You can
but it
never find
doesn't
one
hold
blimp.
air. That's like for the most part.
I
Those are
know,
expensive.
but that's why it's so good.
I loved
Flat blimp.
I loved Big Krang, dude. That
Oh,
thing
Krang,
was
I forgot about
incredible,
Krang.
man. Big Krang with the little thing, dude. That thing. If you could find the big one, the true one, like there was so many
Dude.
different variations of it.
Dude, the
but
freaking
big one-
Technodrome.
The Technodrome was incredible.
So
was
my God,
Krang
that's so
sold
good.
with the Technodrome? He might have
I
been.
don't remember.
No.
Or they sold separately.
Maybe the little one was.
Maybe just a little one,
Yeah.
not the full like
I don't think the
big
full
thing.
one is.
Can you
Yeah.
see over
I
there?
can't remember.
And they also made them in different sizes, like those big ones, small ones. Such a good toy line.
Oh, the big one.
big
Wait,
ones are so good.
Are we going with the Legends variants or
Just
are we
like
going
Candy
with
X.
the?
Yeah.
This is a newer one, Curtis, the one you pulled up.
Yeah,
but
I-
everyone gets it.
But
90s
are we going for 90s?
Yeah, 90s. It has to be 90s.
Because if it's the Legends, I'm gonna go S. But if it's 90s,
Nope, it's 90s.
I'm gonna
90s.
go C. Wait, no. I have to keep it at a A.
Which
sorry.
one's Legends?
The new ones. We're not doing Legend.
The-
We're doing
Oh,
new
90s,
We're
do
doing
90s,
the
do
90s.
Curtis
90s.
just pulled up the wrong image, but
Yeah.
we're doing 90s X-Men toys.
It's hard to find just toy figure images, like other than just one package. So I just had to do it all in one.
That's fine. 90s X-Men.
I love the show so much that I love, like, the toys were not the greatest, but that show was so good that made the toys that much better.
So what's your grade?
A.
For me, it's a B. I didn't love as much as I thought I would. The toys.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't think I'm as high on the show as most people would be. I'm probably about a B too. But
Really, the show's phenomenal.
It is, for sure.
The show's great. I'll go C on this toy.
Ooh.
Toys are okay. Show was great.
Yeah.
The remake, phenomenal.
97.
Yeah.
Chris is really
Gosh,
thinking
as
hard.
much as I want to give this an S because the show is my favorite cartoon
So
of
good.
all time,
You're
the
not judging off
toys
that.
were just not well done. Like the earlier like Kennard lines in like the 80s and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Some of those Marvel superheroes ones were good, but this line was just, I don't even think
You're
they're
struggling, bro. Just say it.
But I'm a big fan of our like articulation. Like,
Yes.
and they didn't move well. I think they had
Yeah,
stiff
They were
arms.
stiff.
And so like Wolverine would be like, "Rrr," like this. And it was like,
Just say it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it an A. I just still have to
Oh,
give it an
come
A.
on. You wanted to go lower,
No,
dude.
I have to give it
They
an A.
finally made him a little bigger, but it was too late.
Yeah.
Everything else already took over. I was like,
But you gave him an A because of the show or because of the toy?
I like looking at them.
'cause-
I like seeing them.
I
But
played with them
playing
during the show. I was like,
playing with them was pretty garbage, but looking
He's
at
being
them.
wish-washy right now, bro.
Yeah, he's got like
He's playing politician right now. He's playing politician right now.
Going A.
Oh, Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels, Ricky.
That's what I was waiting for.
Okay, so I'll jump in with this. Hot Wheels. So I grew up on, even in the 90s, I grew up playing with older type cars like Tonka and big trucks that were heavy and die-cast that would like split your head open if you touched them wrong. So when I came to Hot Wheels, I actually wasn't really into them at all. I'm going to go D. As much as I want to go higher, I didn't really have an affinity for them. Tonka trucks were huge for me as a kid.
I used to have that carpet map with like where you could put like
That was
cars through it.
iconic.
Yeah, I had that in my room.
Hot Wheel Ricky?
I feel like I can't give it a bad score.
You definitely can.
It's a C for me. I loved Hot Wheels, but only for collecting them. I didn't really play with them. I was like, oh, dude, 69 Camaro, yeah.
Why'd it got to be 69?
That was the best year of the Camaro.
Okay.
That's what he was thinking.
I'm gonna agree with you, bro. I'm gonna give it a D because they're not that fun to play. I will step on them and they will hurt.
Oh, yeah.
It's like
bro.
they go.
Isn't that what they used in Home Alone?
Micro Machines.
Micro
Machines, yeah. And I did not have a fun time playing with these at all. So I'm gonna give it a D.
I'm gonna go D as well. I was never a car toy guy. Like, I was like
but
figures.
I like the
We know you're
burly-
not a car guy, Chris. You got a Corvette.
I know I love
Just kidding.
cars, but I don't. I even had like a lot of things that's pictured there with like the wheel, and you would shoot them around and like do like the loop and all that. And like I remember playing with them for like 5 minutes, and I'd be like, "All right, that was cool. Went around the wheel, the loop. I'm done."
You're not playing with, like, when I was a kid, I wanted to hold my like toy. I don't know how.
Yeah.
It's like this one, you're just like, oh, cool.
Let's speed round here.
Oh,
wait,
shoot.
we don't have to speed round. We don't need to. This
I didn't know
Transformers.
Transformers was on here.
it is.
What generation Transformers
90s.
are we at?
No,
90s.
Yep.
90s or
This is
So
all,
this is
guys,
like-
this whole segment is 90s.
I'm thinking generation like the
Wait
G1s.
a minute. No, what about the
G2s?
G1s, the
Beast Wars.
metals, the 80s?
Beast
that's
Wars.
87, 80s, yeah. So
Transformers
this is
toys,
Beast Wars.
90s.
Beast Wars?
Beast Wars era.
I don't know how they don't get it or hear this.
Just
Well, there's so many I had to figure
Look
out where
at the
we
title,
were at.
Curtis. Show them the title again of the
oh,
segment.
yeah. Ready.
There
Ranking
you go.
iconic.
Nice.
No, I
90s
know
toys.
that, but Ricky and I were trying to figure out G1, G2, G3. What were we in the 90s?
I think
What
Ricky already
generation?
figured it out.
We did. Beast Wars, we got it.
Beast Wars
We
era.
had to get there.
I'll start it off. I'm gonna go with B. If it was the other generation, I'd go full blown S. But I did like Beast Wars era a lot, but I didn't like the other stuff they were making with it. So if they just stuck to Beast Wars, I would have been okay. I don't know.
E for me.
Oh,
Ooh.
shoot.
You want to know something? If it was original Transformers, it would be an F.
Dang.
Like
Damn.
G1, like the original ones?
Yep.
Like the metal ones?
Do you know why, though?
Why?
Because I could not play with them as a kid because I've told you guys before, like, when I was a kid, I could not do, like I just said a minute ago, big Tonka trucks, easy to play, bong, 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 break things, hit things, smash. Transform. I open it once and I'm like, what the crap? How do I put this next toy? I couldn't,
Chucked it.
I couldn't get them back together. I didn't have the patience. Are they amazing? Absolutely. I think they're spectacles within.
They really are.
But for some reason, like then when we get to Power Rangers, like we're talking about, I feel like it was so much easier for me to manipulate
Yeah.
and put them.
Those you
There
could
was no,
actually
like,
do.
transformation.
I just couldn't do that. But I agree, the toys themselves are unreal.
Do you take toys at your shops?
I do not.
You do not.
I do not. I take vintage video games, standees, signs.
Because I'll tell you, Transformers are like a curse. And I take toys. And when they come in, especially this line, like the Beast Wars ones, trying to figure out how to turn them into what they're supposed to be
Yeah, I can't.
is like near
many pieces.
impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what the heck? And so the G1s you could kind of figure out. Like
Yeah.
the 80s ones, I feel like I could get. But these ones were like near impossible to twist. You would have to like pull the head up, twist the head, bend it to the left, down. It was like a puzzle.
See, that's why I'm saying the ones that whatever I had in the 90s, I could not figure, whether it was Beast Wars or whatever I was given, could not do it.
But Beast Wars was pretty awesome. The show was awesome.
Yeah,
I'd give them a
great.
C just for like
Beast
how
Wars was
cool
like
they
early
were.
CGI too. It was fun to watch.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like Beast Wars because I like around the N64 era.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Game's
it was, and that game is very expensive. I'll give
Oh,
this
I
a
have
D.
one.
I just never.
Who would have thought Transformers would end up towards the bottom?
Seriously.
All right.
Because you got me all like, he's like the left, the right, to take off the head.
Just because we're squeezed on
Yeah.
time, let's go with GI Joe's 90s.
Oh god, I'm gonna get so much
F.
hate.
I never liked G.I. Joes from the 90s. I don't even know if I like the old ones.
I'm not a GI Joe guy.
Sorry,
Ricky
guys.
Ricky and I literally just got a bucket full of like original vintage GI Joes, and this is how much me and Ricky know about them. We're like, all right, 20 GI Joes for sale. Whatnot? Go. 10 seconds. Here you go. 10, all right, sold. Next. Didn't look up one of them.
How much did he go for? How much did it sell?
I don't even remember. Like
I
70
think they were
bucks
the
or
probably,
something.
there was some that were worth quite a bit.
I should have
in there.
looked at those. Yeah,
Do you,
some of
do you
those.
sell G.I. Joes at your store?
I do.
He does toys.
Yeah,
do?
I'm
All toys?
all toys.
Wow.
Yeah, they're tough though. They don't move. They're not big movers, but
shelf
they do
fillers, yeah.
shelf fillers,
Yeah,
and they
I
look
assume,
awesome.
I assume, yeah.
Yeah,
they're
people do like them, and we
Pretty
sell
decor.
them loose and boxed.
I tried collecting the Street Fighter ones. I still couldn't do it.
Oh, those are a little cooler.
Those
If I
are
had to
cool.
pick-
They're
They're
pretty
a lot
much
cooler.
GI Joes. The Street
I like the
Fighters.
Street Fighter. They
Yeah.
are.
They are.
Oh,
yeah.
are they? Yeah, they.
Yeah.
They work together. They're
Yeah.
branded GI Joe.
Those
Oh,
when the
they are
movie came
branded.
out.
I was
collab.
trying to think if they
Yep.
were branded GI Joe.
I like the Street Fighter big GI Joe ones. Those ones are cool.
Those are pretty cool. I'm not gonna.
What do you
Romeo?
get this one, Romeo?
Man, GI Joe sucks. Someone give it an F.
We're so trash.
So
Yeah,
much
comment
better.
below. Who cares?
We should have.
James, the first one's gonna call us.
Hey,
Where'd you guys go?
That's
F,
Gallo's
F,
jam.
F.
Gallo's Jam is G.I. Joe.
Gallo
All
loves
three,
G.I. Joe.
three Fs. You went F?
Yeah, I was an F.
F, F, F. I'm gonna be honest. This is one of my favorite toys of all time.
G.I. Joe?
GI Joe. I love GI Joes. I played with these so much when I was a kid.
Why'd you rank them so low?
I didn't rank them yet.
Oh, you didn't rank them?
I'm going to S on it. It's an S for me.
Wow.
Whoa.
Dang. I thought you
Joes.
ranked them F.
No, I did not. I was curious to see what Romeo was going to put it
Make
at.
sure your hat's not too tight.
I had so many GI Joes, and I loved the cartoon. They were. I just played the heck out of these.
Dang.
They're like my
Chris.
favorites. I know it's sad to hear you guys give them Fs.
I'm sorry. I
Little
didn't want
teary-eyed.
to. I just, you know.
Gabbo's a GI Joe guy.
Huge.
Oh, we're gonna have to do the
He'd
GI
probably
Joe
go S with you.
podcast, dude. Me and Gabbo.
The readers.
Yeah,
Just
heads
talk
up.
about GI
Yeah.
Joes for hours.
I mean, talk about just jabbers. All right, let's see. Let's see. We got one more. Let's do.
What did I bring it
Oh,
up? to?
WWF.
I brought it up to an E.
Yeah, you brought
Poor GI Joes.
WWF is on here. Where's it at?
Right
Hope
there, next to
so, I hope
Furbies.
so.
Furbies. This one.
Right there.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Baby,
yes.
yes, solid S all day for me. I
Wait,
love.
tell the audience. They don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so it's WWF, the Hasbro. Wait, is this the Hasbro ones? Yeah. I'm trying to look. I'm like,
Not
I'm
the
not sure.
Hasbro, for
Yeah,
sure.
it's the Hasbro ones. The Hasbro ones are my favorite, like wrestling figures. I have almost the full complete set. And
Really?
dude,
Boxed or loose?
Damn.
this was like I have some boxed and some loose, but I have the Undertaker with the coat.
Nice.
That's a really hard one to find.
Wow.
But dude, this was like my era of wrestling. WWF, this was what I used to love. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, Legion of Doom, Bushwhackers. I was like, oh, so good.
Heck yeah.
I love, dude, this was when they were like meaty. They're like, everyone was
yeah.
big.
Yeah.
Romeo?
I would not give it an S or an A, but I will give it a B, a solid B, because this toy line and those characters, those are legends.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame legends. Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, all those guys, phenomenal. That's like when wrestling was like wrestling, you know?
Wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. B.
Krista?
I'll give it a solid A. It almost deserves an S. I mean, as far as wrestling, this is the best era.
I thought you liked
said.
wrestling,
sure.
Chris.
For
I
sure.
do.
Sure.
I didn't play a ton with wrestling toys when I was a kid. I was busy playing with my GI Joe. But they are the best line of wrestling, best wrestlers. Crazy story. When I moved out here, I wish I had never sold these. I wasn't even really hunting.
Every collector ever.
I know, and I went to an estate sale, and they were about to throw these things out. They had boxes of these. They were in box.
Wow.
And I ended up selling them. This was probably like 8 years ago, and back then they were all selling overseas on eBay. Actually, they went to they were selling for $200-300 a piece. I don't know if I had the Undertaker
piece?
one. A piece, yeah, on card. And I don't know what they're worth now. I feel like they're probably worth $400 or $500, like mint on card.
Probably.
Yeah, but
But
it was all
that's a good price even for back then.
it was all
that's a
from
great
years
price.
ago. Yeah.
England that were buying them for some reason. I don't know why.
They were harder to. I think they were harder to find in the UK and down that way, because I know there's like an Ultimate Warrior that you can't really find over here or over there. It's like hard to find. It's like a purple, blue. I don't remember.
Yeah, but solid A for me.
Dang. All
We're just
right.
gonna
What
bring
did
this
you give it,
down.
Yeah, what'd you give it?
He's gonna bring it down.
That's a solid A.
Zero attachment to it. I never played with them. They do nothing for me. I literally get most of my enjoying out of it because I see how much Ricky enjoys them.
I
You
do
gave it
love
an S, right?
Yeah, I gave it an
I'd
S.
have to
I think it's
say-
an A to me.
I'm sorry, I don't have interest in D.
Do you follow wrestling at all?
Damn.
Zero.
Zero.
I never did. I mean, I liked watching the old
Wait,
school
it's an
stuff.
F?
He said D. He
D.
said D.
Oh.
I liked watching the
D.
old school stuff. Hulk Hogan, Undertaker, for
That's
sure.
this era.
But I got
yeah,
out of it the
fast.
minute we got into like 2000s. But I wasn't even ever super into it.
Yeah,
I just like the spectacle of Hulk and them yelling and going wild and
pretty
So
awesome.
you had a favorite toy. What was it that I missed?
Batman the Animated.
Batman.
Dang, Batman animated is
Dang, I would
pretty
have given him a
incredible.
solid D.
Just to spite me.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have given those an A.
Oh,
They're an A.
yes.
Yeah, I love Batman animated.
Actually,
toys.
never mind.
They're
They
really
did have
good.
the Batmobile.
The one toy
Forgot
I'm
about
surprised
the
it did
Batmobile.
not put on this list is Pokemon. Where it
Uh,
started.
that would have been a
Yeah.
solid F.
I had it on there in my head. I just don't want to hear Riff talk about it.
Oh, okay.
So the top one looks like it's TMNT, Curtis, or is it? Yes,
Yeah,
right?
TMNT.
TMNT takes the cake.
And what's the bottom?
Star Wars.
Good.
90s. That was the episode 1 era, so that's fair.
Yeah, I like
I
the
can't wait for
episode.
the 80s and 70s one with Thundercats and He-Man.
Bring them on,
Oh,
baby.
man, bring on 80s.
I'm gonna F them all.
No, don't you dare. They're so good.
All right, you guys know the news about, Sony's new release, or at least their trailer about their PS5.
Pro.
What do you think about it as they release it? Like, what are your thoughts?
PS5 Pro.
Yep.
We're talking about the attachment that plays discs.
How you have to pay $700. Then
It
if you
doesn't
want
play this. All digital.
all digital
It's all digital,
but you
700
can
bucks.
buy the attachment.
for extra money. Then if you want to stand, you have to pay more. You're probably looking at about a G.
Yes.
To get it. The graphical difference is you have to squint real hard with 4K lenses to even try to see a difference. And on top of that, we have very few games popping out to even show us what the great. I mean, we have gone so far backwards right now. Like, what do we have pushing our hardware? What's the newest Star Wars game? Outlaws. Debatably one of the most sucky, horribly graphic. We got Concord, which was quite literally, I think, one of the biggest failures in video game history. Within a week or two, it was literally pulled because it had like 200 something players playing it. And then they have the audacity to drop a PS5 Pro trailer. Like, hey, all these great pieces of S games we have. We're going to charge you this much money to play them and have them look barely even better. Then to charge you more. I think it was just... Well, I think the world spoke loud enough. That's what I'm very happy about. It wasn't like...
Definitely.
I was quietly like, oh man, this is kind of dumb. I mean, it was the entire, not just retro gaming community. It was every tech reviewer, retro YouTuber, gamer, tech company. Like, what are they doing right now? If anything, everyone's saying, do not buy this. Show them they are doing the wrong thing right now.
Do you think that there will be a limited amount of releases of that console?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know.
I think they're going to do a lot of releases because I feel that they're trying to push digital onto us physical gamers as much as they can.
For sure.
And digital is becoming extremely popular, and so is modding. So I think Sony will be pushing more digital games for this console than re-releasing it. But they are going to get a lot of backlash due to the price. The price, $700. That's a lot.
Especially in this economy.
Yes, man. Especially when, look, I have people coming to my shops and they're selling their collections. Are you getting a lot of collections?
Yeah, a lot of
getting a lot of
trades right
collections.
now. A lot of trades.
And I have to ask everyone that comes in, why are you trying to sell? The one common answer I get on a
Need
weekly
money?
is, dude, I need groceries.
Dang.
I'm really getting that.
And
in
then on
LA.
top of that, have you seen like grocery prices?
Yes, yes.
Bread, like $15 and
It's insane.
Yeah.
I ate McDonald's by myself on the app. It was like $20. You
Man.
know? So are people gonna be willing to shell out $700? Yeah, the people that are well off, but for the regular gamer, and as you all know, we're all collectors, the regular gamer is always trying to find deals.
Well,
So for $700, I think it's
plus
too
tax,
steep.
plus if you want the drive.
Yes.
if you
And you
want-
have to get a vertical stand and pay $40 extra.
Oh,
you
what?
know people are buying
You
the
gotta
disc
stand.
drives right now
Dear God.
and they're reselling right now for $400. The disc drives, resellers are buying them up from Best Buys and Target and reselling them for $400 to get ready for the PS5 Pro.
when is this set to drop?
I don't know. Did it say?
Let me see.
Is it before Christmas?
Yes, it is.
Because if it drops before Christmas, we're in September 2024 right now. If they get it out before then,
November 7th.
It is. It is.
so
It's gonna be for
November
holiday season.
7th. I mean, is there any other consoles coming out?
No.
So
but
they're
then-
the only ones with the console coming out right before Christmas?
Yep.
When's the Switch? When's the new Switch coming out?
They
or
haven't
the
even-
new?
The leaks actually dropped
Yeah.
today.
Yeah, they dropped
Oh,
today.
dang.
They're going to announce it before April 2025.
Some people were saying it was.
No, it is. It is. Nintendo's going to say they're going to announce it before April 2025.
The drop today, was that really real
The draft?
The drop.
The leaked information. It was
I
leaked
think it was real.
information.
I saw from Kevin Kenson, at least his title and thumbnail was. It seemed like he was saying like this is real.
I think I
and
saw
he's
it
a
from
reliable
IGN
guy.
too.
Do you guys think this might actually hurt Sony by pushing this out?
Well,
Yes.
my
Through their
opinion-
image.
I feel if they're the only console coming right before Christmas and you have a bunch of teenage kids, that the way this was advertised from what I saw was it's all about frame rates, speeds, which I joke doesn't even exist. Just means you need to get better at
Well,
gaming.
I'll say
But
90.
more for the streamers.
But for the streamers, so I have a 15-year-old son. All I hear him talking about is frame rates, because he's playing Fortnite, Siege, these super fast games. I don't know that it's like I agree with you that the launch titles are not what's going to sell this, but I'm out of the loop as far as how much they care about the frame rates. All I know is my 15-year-old son seems to care a lot about that. And if the holiday season is coming up and these kids are being sold like this is going to make your gameplay that much better, it's going to make you a better gamer because you can play better, they might be going to mom and dad and saying, this is what I want for Christmas.
I would say yes, but I would say we're also in a different era where, especially kids your son's age, which is also my son's age, they, as much as it's not like back in the day where you could kind of pull a fast one on kids, right? They see this trailer, like my son saw it, saw the trailer, ooh, that looks good. But immediately recommend, your feed on YouTube is recommended PS5 videos. Every thumbnail, he's looking on TV like, what the heck? Every thumbnail is do not buy, waste of money, overpriced.
Yep.
What is this? Why is Sony doing this? Ban Sony. He's like, oh, this isn't what I was being sold. Back in the day, I feel like you could kind of like write ET cause the video game crash, apparently, because, hey, look at what you're going to get. Now we're in an age where I feel like they are starting to have to be a little more careful and cautious because you have the tech channels reaching out. You have the retro channels going, what are you even saying? Right? So they're putting just as much into your son's ear as Sony would be.
Does anybody know enough about frame rates, Ben? So this is a question for you.
For sure.
Yeah.
What is this PS5 Pro? How much better is it than the PS5?
So I don't follow that as much. I mean, obviously higher frame rates are better, but it's obviously getting into the PC gaming arena, which probably Curtis knows more about.
Well, a lot of people are saying at this price that it's at, they're like, why not just buy a gaming PC at this point? Like you're getting into this range. Why not get a gaming PC? There's so much more you can do. And yes, there's the argument of, upgrading hardware and all that. But
And I don't know what percentage of kids are playing on PCs versus PS5s versus Xbox One.
There's a lot.
X's.
On PCs, there's a lot.
son's
There's a
PC.
lot. But I remember it was a few years ago. My son was like, hey, I want a PC. Gaming PC, so I went out and bought him an expensive gaming PC. Right, it was probably like $1,000. No, not that much, but it was probably like $1,000, right? And then he also has a PS. He doesn't have a PS. He has an Xbox Series X, and I don't pay attention to what he's always playing on. And I asked him the other day, like, "What are you playing your PC?" And he's like, "No, I haven't played that in years. I just play the Xbox Series."
thanks for making me buy
What the
it.
heck did I buy that thing for? So
That's the story of every parent.
I know,
Why
but
did I buy that?
I wonder if I wonder what percentage of kids are still playing consoles. I feel like a good percentage of them.
No, there are for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. And not only they're playing modern gen consoles, but they're also playing retro gen consoles. But going back to the PlayStation Pro console, I think this is a push of desperation from Sony because they just announced like a couple weeks ago, right? They don't have that much AAA title characters. So they don't have enough like a Nintendo library or even an Xbox library because Microsoft bought Bethesda and all that stuff. They have some AAA characters. They don't have enough AAA characters to make shows, movies, theme parks.
They did Uncharted, it was a drop in the wind. Nobody cared about it.
They only have Uncharted, God of War,
Which is good. That's
Horizon.
The big one.
That's good. That's good. Horizon.
They used to have Call of Duty as the pre-order, like you could beta play it. Now you can't.
Now you can't. Now you can't. So I think this is like a quick money grab for Sony because they are laying off a bunch of people and video game developers. So it's just a quick money grab.
Gaming industry as a whole and the new gen is in a very tough spot.
So hard.
RGT is saying it is the video game crash is happening.
I get a lot of my information from Pirate Software, who is a developer for like one of these larger companies like World of Warcraft and all that stuff. He actually develops games, and he kind of goes through the gaming industry and how toxic it was when developing games. Like they would get poor work hours, and people didn't want to work these things, and like games weren't getting done because like they were getting treated bad. And like he was just like, he kind of goes more into it on his channel, but it's just the game industry hasn't taken care of the workers to be able to create a great game.
They don't.
Yeah.
You know, Rockstar I think is doing it right. Is I guess one of the former developer of GTA 6. They say that they're not going to put out that game until it is perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's what the big difference is. I know you're saying a lot of times they're not paid properly, which can be true. I don't know their wages and all that. But at the same time, they are still putting out stuff. A lot of these games that are just like, this is not what people want. You're pushing out so many AAAs just to get the game out. Well, the best comment I saw actually on one of this, it said, "Sorry, Sony, the world is getting sick of paying to be your beta testers." And it's like, wow, that is such
That's right on the head.
like
That's a statement.
we're sick of buying these games for $70 only for you to go like, well, I guess we'll just fix it later.
Yeah.
Right. We'll figure it out as we go along.
And I posted this on my social media, my personal one, on the story, and I said, I wish Sony would not focus on upgrading their consoles. I wish they would focus more on good quality games.
100%.
You know?
Look at Nintendo.
Yeah.
I feel like Nintendo in the gaming space right now is in the best spot to be.
It is.
Yeah, I don't think they're worried about a
dominating.
crash.
They're dominating.
They have the best IPs between Mario and Pokemon and Zelda and all of that, and Kirby and Donkey Kong. They can pump out games pretty quick, and they're not going to cost them $100 million to make a new Mario game. Like if you wanted to go create like a new God of War style game from scratch for this Sony PS5, it's $100 million. I guarantee you.
It's a lot of the same stuff with the movie industry. They're over budgeting these movies and they go, oh my God, Disney lost another billion on another movie. It's like, well, yeah, stop making your budgets for these.
Like the Borderlands movie that came out.
Just stop making this stuff cost $500 million.
And they kind of like pigeonholed themselves into this corner where they need like huge games like Fortnite, huge games like Call of Duty, multiplayer games where now that's their thing. Versus Nintendo's over here like, oh yeah, we're still making Mario games and people are buying them just as much. And so I think they're going to get to a point where like there's nobody else making new games because they just can't afford to do it and take the risk on it.
I think what the comparison between Sony and what Microsoft's doing against PC gaming is Microsoft is building its entire library basically to be on PC. That Xbox Game Pass, you could literally play any of those games that your son is playing on PC.
Yeah.
Like Gears of War, like right now, I guess Gears of War hasn't came out with a game until E-Day. You could play that right now on PC.
I even heard from a Microsoft executive, I think it's somewhere out there in the news, that he's even saying that he's even considering not making the next Xbox console. That they're thinking just put it all on PC.
I could see that.
I mean, Microsoft, they're just PC makers anyway.
Yeah, they are PC makers. Originally, that's what they were.
That's what they were.
If you're trying to compete with a market where you're trying to get the best performance, I think Sony is going backwards on it.
Well, it's funny because I'm sure the sales, I haven't looked, but I think Sony PlayStation 5 has more sales than Xbox. I think they lost that race. And I'm not even like a Xbox versus Sony guy, but I feel like even me who has a PS5 and I do play it, I find myself scratching my head like, is Sony just turning into like Apple now? Like we're charging you far more. We're nickel and diming you for every piece, right? That's what Apple started to do. Hey, we'll need by the way, we changed our port again. You have to buy a new cable.
Yep.
Oh, by the way, this charger costs this now. It's like, is this what Sony like? Oh, we're gonna piece you out
a
PlayStation.
Tech company.
Yeah. It's just it's. I'm like afraid. Like, is this what they're starting to do? Be less consumer friendly? Maybe they're cocky. Like, well, we have more sales than Xbox, so we can't do this.
I am happy that they put the disc attachment. The price and all that seems high, but at least they created that. It seems
separately.
like
No, but separate. It should include it. You don't deprive that from a gamer. Give them the option if they want discless or disc, but make both of them pro.
This one's just straight up discless.
It's all digital.
So it's all digital.
They're pushing us to all digital.
The attachment, right? But I guess when they released the PS5, they had the digital, and they had two different versions, right?
And the discless was cheaper,
right? And I remember there actually being more demand, and you probably remember too.
Yeah,
there was more demand for the disc version.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that's probably why you're saying you're seeing people like buying up these disc attachments. I don't know. I guess I'm just in a plus note. I was almost thinking that might have been the last disc version was the PS5 that we even see. So that at least they're having it, I guess, is a plus in a way. There's some physical still there.
Yeah, because I mean,
completely dead.
When you're talking about like frame rates comparably, right? A PC, like my PC, with a display can push out to 180 to 240 like hertz per like frame, right? That compared to a console only puts out 120. Most consoles were locked at that 120 mark. And their FOV, meaning like how much you can see in a game, like a competitive game, you didn't see as much. You had a locked screen, and so you couldn't see as much in your POV. So you were kind of at a disadvantage playing on a console in these games that were like fast-paced, reaction, not like a Nintendo where you have these very great titles like Smash Bros. And you have your own competitive scene already built in. You know what I mean? Like they have framed their own like market themselves. That's why Nintendo does so well.
All right, so if you know the frame rates, then so what's this PS5 putting out for frame rates?
Let me see what
It's just more details from what I got from the news coverage of it. It's just more details into the actual game and just a seamless, more streamable console.
You already nailed it in the head when you said stop. None of this even really matters if you don't have good games.
Yeah,
right.
I feel like they lost a connection with their PS fans and their gamers.
Yep.
I feel like they fell off the map, or they're starting to fall off the map, because if you look at Nintendo, man, not only are they producing fire games, but they're in theme parks, they're in movies, they're in theme parks all over the world. You could literally meet Mario and hug him himself.
And you know they are going to continue to crush the movies.
Dude,
it's so interesting because it's not like Sony, or if you make a Halo thing or anything, like people will like them, but when it's like Nintendo, you cannot tell me when a Zelda movie comes out that it's not going to blow the lid off the movie scene. It's just going to.
Have you guys seen the Nintendo museum that's opened up in Kyoto?
Yeah.
You know, I want to go too. You know how crazy that is? You know, like there's giant controllers and 64 Wiimote. Imagine having a big Wiimote and you have to play in the museum holding it.
That's how I feel every day when I use the bathroom.
Imagine getting one of those in your store and then them coming for it.
Romeo saying that he's got them.
But only Nintendo can think of something crazy like that for gamers to react. Oh, I want to go there, right? Sony does not do that. Like, oh, I want to get that. This is having a lot of people on both sides. I want to get it. I don't want to get it. But it's more often people screaming, I'm not going to get it.
It is so funny how there's like a PlayStation fanboys, Xbox fanboys, and they butt heads. But in the middle of that, right in the middle, is everyone in the world like all agreeing like Nintendo's good. Everybody's like, no, Nintendo's great. Like, no one has a beef with Nintendo.
Yeah, I lean on the side, the PC Xbox side. That's where I do.
You do? Okay, you're PC Xbox.
Are you going to get one of these?
No.
No?
Not even going to think about it.
If Xbox came out with a new one that had frame rates like this, would you buy it?
No.
What's
so
the next?
I bet on $3,000
Most
PC.
people, like we've said before, don't even have the proper TVs and displays to play this stuff. And they go jump out, dude. I've told you before, people have sent me photos. I'm not going to name names. I got the new Xbox Series X. I'm so stoked. And they send me a picture of them playing. And I'm like, they're playing on like a janky ass TV from 15 years ago. And I'm like, you are not seeing any upgrade, my boy. You just think you are.
Yeah, and I still have like a PS4 and an Xbox One original, I think, that I play on.
Dang,
and
you're
like,
on hard times or what?
I haven't.
You saw him with the water cup.
Which water cup?
Oh, we made a joke about the water cup because you filled it up with not water, and I was like, "Dang, look at that thief over there!" Called him out.
I joke around. We're talking about going to the taco place, and there's the water's always on the. There's always something behind it. Lemonade. This one had fruit punch, and I always go, "Oops!" And I just tap it.
Thief, dude. Don't let my wife know that.
Never forget
I do 75% water, one splash of whatever's behind it. It's just an oops.
Oh, a splash. Okay, a splash is okay.
It's a splash for a a little lemonade taste in the
That
water.
looked really red to be a splash.
I was like, hey Curtis, look at this thief back there, dude.
All right, let's change on to another subject. We're gonna go into I guess you have in a game store. What are some of like the worst game store experiences that you've had with customers coming in?
Man, a lot. Okay, they trip out when they're trying to sell stuff and they don't get what they want. I had this one person freak out trying to sell me a PS4. And it was like, dude, I'm getting so many PS4s. Everyone wants a PS5. I can't give you so much. And it was missing controllers, cracked, scratched up, whatever. I said, dude, I'll give you $25 cash.
Yeah, I don't want this thing.
I literally have 100 of them in the back. He freaked out, went absolutely crazy. You know, the one thing too And to all the LA video game fans out there, I really appreciate you guys. I really love you guys. I wouldn't be here without you. But please stop calling the store every day saying, are you guys buying today? Are you guys buying? Hey, how much can I get for this over the phone? Do you give quotes over the phone?
No.
Come on.
No. And people get irate when we tell them that they can't. Well, I'm not going to drive down there, and we just say they don't understand. And I'd like to explain why.
Please, take the floor.
There's a couple of reasons why. One being, sometimes we only have one person on, and when they're helping customers, right? They have to sell, they're finding discs, they're doing stuff. And then somebody calls and goes, hey, can I get a quote? And if we were like, yes, we can give you a quote. And we used to, right? We used to try to accommodate it. This is what happens. Okay, I want to know how much it is for this game. And then they have to look it up. Okay, we're going to give you $6. And I want to know how much for this game. Look it up. And we've had people literally go on there asking for about 50 games. And then at what point do you say, okay, we can't give you a quote for any more games? So we just always try to tell people we don't do quotes over the phone, come on down. But they get mad because they just, and I get it from their perspective. They don't want to drive.
I thought it would be they show up and they're like, hey, how much for Xbox 360? You say the price. Boom, whatever. I don't know what it is, $40. And they show up and it's scratched up, janky, and they go, you said $40, bro.
There's that. That's another reason why.
Some guy called me. I got this Pokemon Gold. How much can you get? Okay, I'll give you $60. Right? Comes in, it's a bootleg. It's like,
go to GameStop Retro.
I can't get, go to GameStop down the street. It's like, dude, I can't take it. Well, you told me $60. I drove down here an hour. I really need the money. Got to pay my. I was like, bro, like, really, bro? Yeah. Like, that's why I don't give quotes over the phone. I don't give cash or store credit. Come inside, because for LA video games, if your game is worth $1,000, but the label's scratched up, messed up, or whatever, we won't even take it in, because we are a collector store. We are catering for collectors and gamers. I can't sell a little Samsung with a big Blockbuster sticker and scratched up and someone's markings on it. Give it to another game store. And how I run my video game store too, it's so different. Everyone that I know or I see, they inspire to have big video game stores, giant ones, right? I personally don't want a giant store. I focus more on 1,000 square feet or less, because when you have a giant store, you have to fill it up with so much stuff, and it's constantly filling holes. If you have a medium-sized to small store, it's easier to fill up, easier to stack up, and easier to expand more, faster, more growth, more sales, more location, more branding. If you have a giant store, you're going to be stuck at that location, and don't even talk about the overhead on a giant store. That's insane. You have a big one, and
I have big, and I have little.
Right.
I have two, and sometimes. Actually, the small stores do about as good as the big stores do.
Yeah.
The big stores used to do better, and now they are kind of on par.
Yeah.
But the overhead is a lot higher on the big stores. You're right about
Retro
that.
Rick, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling Retro Rick. Hey,
Retro Rick, I know your pain, bro. I see your pain sometimes.
Although Retro Rick's payment probably isn't very much in Arkansas.
I know.
Versus LA.
But look, Retro Rick, his store is beautiful. It's phenomenal. So when you're walking in there, you're having an experience, right?
Destination.
Like a tourist destination, all that stuff. But I see him on his channel, and he's constantly buying lots. Why? You can't have an empty store.
Yeah.
Once you have an empty store and someone sees an empty store, the store's whack.
Yeah.
Automatically. So you have to fill it in, So he's constantly filling it in, pumping. And yeah, you're probably getting that return back too. But where's your growth at, Maybe he wants to have one store. That's perfectly fine.
I think so.
But I want 10 stores. I want 10 stores in 10 different states. I don't want to open no more in California, and my third store is in development. I want to make sure that I get the East Coast and West Coast. I could do expos on both circuits.
Right next to Chris's other stores in Connecticut.
No, it's not far for you, okay? That way, my branding is known all throughout the United States. I'm helping collectors. I'm helping my community. And I'm making sure that the people that are renting cabinets from me, they're striving as well. So that's why I don't want big stores. I want medium-sized stores that can expand faster.
Yeah, but how do you see the longevity of your stores lasting throughout the years?
Video game collecting is a very expensive hobby. We can all agree on that. Even if you're finding Mario games for $10, it still adds up. And as the years go by, more and more people are collecting, and they're getting into it. I'll probably say right now there's probably more resellers than collectors. But at the end of the day, those resellers still have to get inventory. I feel how my business is run, and with my Fortune 500 background, I feel like my stores are going to be in the long haul for 20 years, especially with the plans I have in place. Because within 3 years, and I just hit 3 years, I went 2 stores and 1 600-foot warehouse with 8 employees. Some people can't even hit 2 stores within 4 to 5 years. It takes a while to build that up. So the numbers that I'm hitting and the goals that I'm hitting are being matched for me to outperform and outgrow.
So you think there's a long time left? We had our buddy Elliot on, and what did he say? He thought 12 years?
6.
6 years.
6 years left. Romeo, what do you think? Tell it to his face.
I saw, look, Elliot, I have nothing but respect
Tell
for
him
you.
right there.
Hey, I have nothing but respect for you. You're a great guy. You're my neighbor. I love you to death. You're a homie, but I'm going to break it down for real. Ooh. I saw that podcast, and I think it was absolutely wrong what he said for many different reasons. One, for his employees. When you tell your employees you got 6 years, what are your employees going to think? After 6 years, do I have to go somewhere else to find another job? There's a lot of people depending on me. I'm not going to tell my people 6 years. I'm going to tell them it's till the wheels fall off. So
3.
Reborn. Maybe 1. Maybe 1. But if you also look at the market, looking back at Nintendo, and you were talking about theme parks and movies, the demand for Nintendo products is only increasing time after time. COVID has changed the whole game for everyone. During lockdowns, people started collecting, started watching your YouTube channel, started going on whatnot, whatever. There's a whole new range of collectors. If you want to find the pulse of where the video game collecting scene is at or the market's at, perfect example, take a look at SoCal. Look how busy SoCal was. You guys knocked out the ballpark, and I've been selling at SoCal since 2016. This was the most insane, crazy SoCal ever. That is showing me of a healthy market and a healthy ecosystem. Sneakers is down. Collecting sneakers is down.
Vintage clothes are down.
Vintage clothes is down. Video games, up. Why? Because no matter, we're in a recession-proof business.
Comics are down.
Yeah, but are video games down?
No, video games are the only one that kind of like through the whole, everything that's gone on have continued to kind of hold and continue to go up.
We picked the right industry.
But I've been doing it since 2011. There have been some ups and downs where I was like, "Oh, I don't know if these stores are going to make it anymore."
Of course.
Am I still bullish on it like you are? Yeah, 20 years easy. I'm in it till the wheels fall off or the legs don't work anymore, right?
Yeah, me too. I'll keep making videos about it.
Yeah, let's keep it.
Hey, technically, we play part in the market.
Yeah, and then going back to content creators, right? LA Video Games, we're sponsoring content creators like your guys's. So we're sponsoring a couple of YouTubers. I don't want to say the name of them because it's on development, but that's showing that we want to invest into you guys because you guys have a platform to invest and to inspire the next generation.
Oh, you guys are huge. Yeah, the YouTubers. And you guys are like the current generation.
I thought he said degeneration.
Degeneration. You guys are degeneration. But in the YouTube world, you guys, there's been phases of that for sure too. There's a lot of old heads that have come and gone. They're not as relevant, if that's the word, or they decided to not be relevant, right? But you guys are like the current, you're that whatever generation of YouTubers. But I think you guys and the Retro Ricks and the Calebs and John Riggs and Chases and all those guys have like
RPG life, more
willing to share. I think there is something so important about being willing to share how much you truly love the gaming culture, right? Because it can become infectious. And I've done it too in other markets where you watch a video about something, you're like, man, like I've been very passionate about like horror movies, like, right? And I'll watch other people that are so into it and they're much more intelligent than I in the way they speak. And I'm like, man, it's really good that there are people out there willing to speak truly about whatever their hobby is and about how much they love it. So that's why it's really cool that we get to do that in the video game scene and that people, get to see it and listen and be a part of it. It's just really fun to tie in those worlds. I think what you said about Nintendo is so interesting. I never thought about this. How you said Nintendo collecting will always be a thing.
Always.
Because Nintendo is still always pushing. So that makes me wonder, I wonder if Sega or PlayStation or Xbox 15 years from now will still be pushed like in the mainstream. I feel like Nintendo, there's going to be Mario movies for who knows how long, theme parks, right? So I feel like there's always going to be little bits of interest sparked in Nintendo and Mario. And what was Mario's first game? Oh, that thing 50 years ago, the NES, you know. So I feel like that might always have some push, but I wonder if like we're going to run into any problems with like PlayStation collecting in, you know, or Sega or anything like that because it's not as pushed.
No. I actually think we are, in our lifetime, we are going to witness this era. And the era is what I call it is the all digital era, where the next PS8, the new Xbox, the new Switch, or the new Nintendo product, we are going to be one day in an all digital platform.
Oh, yeah.
100%. It is coming. We are going to experience that. But when that day comes, all the physical games that we currently have are only going up. There's some games too that are going to be stupid expensive to collect for because of licensing, character likeness, soundtracks. Those games are going to be sought after. So what I'm selling the games right now for $30, $100, I'm pretty sure some of these games are going to be $2, $3, $4, even thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Going back to the Mario Pole statues, I think the Mario Pole statues will be a $10,000 collector piece.
I could see that.
For sure. I think Def Jam Fight for New York, which is
Another
selling for like $200 to $300, that'll be a $700 game. I guarantee it. I want you guys to comment below if you guarantee also. Because I think that game, that game has Snoop Dogg as a bad guy, you know? It has ODB, has all these rappers, all their crazy moves and all their soundtracks. None of those rappers are ever going to do that game again or release it because they want the money and they can't get the money no more. That game is going to be rare. Really rare.
Is there any video games with P. Diddy in it?
Yeah, it's a lot. I'll show you. It's called Baby Oil.
Dang. Hey, man, I just want to say, Romeo, thank you for being here, man. We really appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Romeo!
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
And yeah, tell them your exact locations, LA Video Games, so they can, or where they can find you on socials and all that too. As well.
We have Instagram, LA Video Games _CA. We have Twitter, LA Video Games 1, TikTok, LA Video Games. 2 store locations open every single day. We have one in Sherman Oaks, 10 minutes away from Universal Studios if you're visiting from out of town, or one right there in the heart of Hollywood on Melrose. Feel free to check us out. We rent cabinets to 12 different collectors as well that sell games for way under market value prices. Feel free to come on through and check us out.
Dang. When I first saw LA Video Games, I thought it was like a Hispanic thing, like La Video Games.
Video games. Some people said that at Expos. Some people said at Expos.
No way.
Are you still considering on getting a tattoo?
We'll see.
Is that still on the table?
The jacket?
Yeah.
Jacket's long gone.
And I want it to be for a rare NES game.
It's long gone.
Rare NES game, would you do it?
What?
If he gets a tat?
If I got an LA Video Games tattoo, it would
For
be
sure.
a super rare video game.
What about
For
you,
sure.
Chris?
Yeah.
Retro Games Plus for
Right
some
there.
test cards.
Arm.
I mean, look at this. I got Retro Ricks.
Yeah. What did he have to give you for it?
Money and pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave me $500 and paid for the tattoo.
Dang. I would have given you that little Samson then. I would have done that.
I want
for
the
a
test
tattoo.
card.
Which one?
The yellow one, NES.
Ooh, maybe.
Okay.
Do I get to pick the spot where it goes?
Within reason. It's not going like on my neck or something.
Anyway, guys, you guys all know that all the full audio episodes will be linked in the description, and also if you had the socials to Romeo's, man. And yeah, appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Love you guys.
Thank you, Bento.